That's crazy. You made everybody listen to that.
Yeah.
What is up and what's going on, fellow Pantheon streamers? We appreciate every single one of you being here, hanging out with us. It's been a week since we've seen you, and we have missed every single one of you. So we appreciate you being here. We have some hot topics to get on topic with today's show. There are some the main topics, of course, but then there are some little things that we are going to touch on as well. The first thing I think we're going to get into is Jonathan Majors magazine Dreams. Obviously, we'll talk about the Sinners trailer. We'll talk about the Michael Jackson movie being delayed, and we will also dive a little bit into, what was the other thing on that topic? I'm sorry, Anthony Mackie, and how he might have misspoke, might have not misspoke, or whatever it was. So we'll get into all that and all those things. Before we get into that, Chill, how were you since last time we spoke with you?
I'm doing okay, and I did something that I don't usually do, or I didn't do something. I didn't go outside. It's been like a solid few days where I was just like, no, too cold. I got food here. I'm not leaving. And it's been a good 48 hours without going outside. It's weird. I feel so domesticated.
You guys grocery shopping, you feel like an adult.
Is it snowing?
Snow, but mostly minus, like below zero, below freezing weather. Yeah. It's crazy.
Marcus, how have you been since last time we talked to you?
Doing good, man. Doing all right. Another day, another dollar.
I feel you. Chill. Let's go ahead and start this show off. I know you wanted to start it off with Magazine Dreams. This is something that we've all been kind of talking about for a while, waiting for this trailer to drop. This is from I've seen a lot of people talking about on Twitter. Jonathan Majors' return to glory in Hollywood. So we'll get your thoughts on that in the article that you have.
But that's the thing, what you just said right now, his return to glory. We are speaking about it as if so much rides on this movie. We want him to be back, quote unquote. He's been out of the movie theaters since whenever Creed came out. March of 2023 is what I'm thinking it is. So it's been 22 months straight without him, with having a movie in the theaters. It'll be 24 months when we reach March 23, when his actual movie comes out, okay? So with 2 years off, with 24 months off, we're treating that like he had this major hiatus. It is common for actors to go that long without having a movie. So we need to watch our language when we say about him returning or his comeback, quote unquote. I don't think it's the right verbiage to use. But if we throw away the semantics, which I know are totally semantics, throw away that out. We need to be having the conversation of what is a successful box office gross that we can point at, and we can say Jonathan Majors' star power is unaffected by the nonsense and chicanery from Stephanie. And what is that number? This budget of Magazine Dreams was something like $8 million. Briarcliff did obtain it from Fox Searchlight Disney. Other Disney Searchlight movies have grossed 20 million or in the neighborhood of 30, 40 million, sometimes less than that. So we know what to expect from dramas coming out of Searchlight. It's not going to be what we would consider would be a failure if Brave New World mix. So we know the level. Now the question is, what is the dollar figure to the box office worldwide gross that we can point at and say, you see, Jonathan Majors is fine, or our ticket buying, our shares, retweets, his promotion, all of his appearances. You know he's going to hit the spirit tunnel. You're going to say, Jonathan Majors, that's the conqueror.
They're not going to say that. Even if he makes the show, they're not going to say that.
Well, the question is, what's the dollar figure, Marcus?
The gross. For this, I mean, I don't know, man. Biopic about a little known bodybuilder. I would, if it makes 50, 60, maybe 75 million, it's doing exceedingly well for the budget that they might have put into it. Far as the cast looks relatively tamed. I mean, I think I've seen a few recognizable faces in there other than Jonathan. But no names that you think that they really had to break the bank for. Looks like they're shooting somewhere domestic, so I'm sure they're collecting a tax break wherever they're at. Louisiana, Ohio, LA, wherever it's popular to shoot these days. Atlanta. I don't know. I think 50, 60 million feels like they got their money plus for this film. And I don't even, like you said, for a drama that was previously picked up by Searchlight, I don't think that, the final budget is necessarily, or the final profit is going to be the tell on whether or not this is a success. This is going to be something that's going to depend a lot on critical acclaim, word of mouth, right? To really capture people back. Which, I mean, the trailer is kind of doing that work for us. From what we've seen so far, I've seen a lot of positive reaction. Now, that's from individuals.
Yeah.
Much less so from the from the trades and certain platforms that are seemed obsessed with Jonathan Majors at a certain point in his career, and now all of a sudden act like he didn't have a movie coming out. It's crazy. I think I have to stop using those guys for takes. But yeah, no, yeah, appreciate it. Back of the bus. Yes, I'm 49. As you can see, I wear it very well. Anywho,
That took a long time for I don't know. Can you at least guess neighborhood?
Yeah, I say about 56 million, 50, 60 million. 50 to 60 million is a success. I feel like. What did they put up for this? What was even the budget?
I don't think Briarcliff obtained it or acquired it for much. I think like they got the best deal they could. Briarcliff, they're the guys who distributed the Donald Trump movie. They're the ones who are touching these films no one else wants to. So when Searchlight was like, we're not using it no more, well, we got to sell it for something. You guys take the rights now. I think they probably spent
also Zeus has a part in this. They were saying that they weren't, right? They did the whole thing where they brought him into the office, and then it was reported that they were picking up the movie, and then they were like, no, we're not. But then their name is clearly in the opening credits of the trailer. So I mean, they're in their financial cahoots somehow. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that they spent a whole lot on this movie, man. If it makes $50 million, it did what it needed to do financially. I think what people say about it, the critical acclaim, is going to matter much more.
I will say at the beginning there, I don't know if I necessarily, I mean, I do agree as far as like speaking certain different things into, Jonathan Majors, I guess, return, because it is a return, regardless of how we look at it, is a return. Sure. People do take breaks in between movies. I mean, but you look at Timothée Chalamet when you said it's normal for actors to take breaks. It is, but Timothée Chalamet just did Dune. He just did that Bones movie. He just did
Wonka.
He just did he's about to do the whoever, I forget, the Bob Dylan movie, and now he's also signed on to do another movie after. Yeah, he's already signed on to do another movie. So yeah, actors do take breaks, but in reality, this is a return for Jonathan Majors. He has been somewhat blackballed in Hollywood, not talked to by, dropped by a major studio. So I would, as much as, of course, been Team Jonathan Majors, been on his side the whole time, but in reality, this is a return for him. So I agree with the verbiage online, a return to glory for him. So when people say that, they're not saying it as like to slight him. It's like, show up, show out. This is his return to Hollywood after the last time we saw him in Quantumania, and everything in between Quantumania has been about that trial. So this is a return to Hollywood for me, for him.
Creed was the last time we saw him. It's also the last time we saw Michael B. And Michael B. has a recent movie in Sinners pretty soon too. I'm just trying to show you, Timothée Chalamet was active, but he's the exception to it. It's weird that Timothée Chalamet, or it's uncommon that he's doing so much work. He's like in a movie every 6 months.
I don't know if it's uncommon. I don't know if that's uncommon.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing that Jonathan Majors is considered a comeback, not because of the amount of time that he's been out, it's because of the amount of controversy that's surrounded his career. And so now that is kind of leveled out and all the news is centered on the acting of it, his actual job, it does feel like a return to normal for him at very least. And then, the reality of the situation is that the perception is going to drive most of this anyways. People are going to treat him like he took this long, drawn out, rehab riddled redemption arc. And when all is said is he had a 6-month trial that was drawn out mostly by the prosecution side. That got settled. His civil suits got settled. He booked some more gigs and now he's working again, right? That's what's true. But then what's also true is that that's how people are going to digest it, right? They're going to take it in as in, damn, this man was on top. He was going to be the flagship of Marvel for the next 10 years. And then now it's like, oh, well, he's doing Briarcliff films. People are going to register it that way until he builds that momentum back up. Which I mean, I think it's possible. Dude is immensely talented. I liked everything I saw out of the trailer. He's a very visceral actor, man. He draws you in with a lot of his movements, his facial expressions. He's a good actor, man. Like it's unfortunate that it had to go the way it went. If he could do it again, I know he'd do it differently. But we're here, and I don't think that it halted him, and I don't think it stopped his career. I think we're just going to look at a good story here coming back.
I think you got to be very wary of the narrative. You see, that movie only made $5 million, just like Anthony Mackie can't get Elevation off the ground.
If it makes $5 million, we got a problem. We got an issue.
Here's something that we didn't talk about yet. February, he was sentenced to 52 weeks. And tomorrow or the day after, it'll be February again. And I think his 52 weeks will be up or nearly up. He's almost out of it and in the clear, where he's not restricted by like a weekly meeting of seeing somebody for DV intervention programs. That's something that he's like. That's something that's going to be like mentally, not exhausting. Whatever the opposite of exhausting is.
Off of him. Yeah.
Relieving. He'll be relaxed. What's the word? What?
Relieving.
I was going to say osteoporosis. Yeah, relieved.
Yeah. I want this film for Jonathan Majors to do good. I do. I'm skeptical though on how it's going to do. Just one, because of what Marcus started it with. It is a little known bodybuilder. Yes, it's Jonathan Majors, and yes, there have been other I love documentary type films anyway. Not documentary, biography type films anyway. So I'm drawn in already. I immediately after the trailer, I looked up who the bodybuilder was just so I could know.
Killian Maddox.
But I just don't know how that's going to play in. When does this come out?
March 21.
March. Yeah.
I don't know how this is. I don't know. There's just it's a big year for movies. It's a big year for streaming. Not to say that, Daredevil is going to do anything to deter people from going to see Jonathan Majors' movie that's in the theaters and streaming, two different things. But I just don't know how it's going to do. Like I said, it's a biography, little known bodybuilder. Jonathan Majors is not seen in the best light by a lot of people. Yes, by those of us within our community. I kind of look at this situation the way that we kind of look at Recast T'Challa. Within our movement, yes, Recast is loud. Within our movement, yes, the support for Jonathan is loud. Outside, I just don't know.
Oh, so you think the case is still going to play a role in the movie in March?
I think I hope not. But I also go back to everything Kat. I just actually rewatched Kat's Club Shay Shay interview, and just the things he was saying about Jonathan Majors, just like, people, when has a black man look like Jonathan Majors ever been the sexiest man alive, ever been this, ever been that, I hate to even put it this way, but he was in a very elevated position and been knocked from that position. I wanted to do good. I really do. I have my skepticism.
What do we define as success? Are we saying like he's going to be back on the track of what he was when he was Kang? Is that the only measure of success?
No, not for me. I'm just saying I don't know.
If Jonathan ends up, go ahead, finish.
I'm just saying, I just don't know how this film does for, box office wise, if it's going to be successful, if people are people talking about seeing Magazine Dreams after this trailer? What is the buzz for it?
Yeah, again, I mean, so first of all, let's drag, I guess, this conversation out beyond just this role for Jonathan Majors. I don't feel like holding him to the standard of where he was with Marvel as a measuring stick for whether or not he can be successful again is necessarily fair. That bridge is pretty clearly burned. So if that's the measuring stick, then he'll never measure up, right? I think if Jonathan ends up having a 20-year career supporting lead, mix and match, whatever, but great films where he's put in prominent roles, I think that counts as a success, because what was destined, what was directed towards was disaster, was implosion, was forgotten and thrown away. Now, to talk about the film with Magazine Dreams, again, we're talking about a film that probably spent under $10 million in production. There's no special effects. Even the bodybuilders we're seeing surrounding Jonathan Majors are diminutive in size. So, like, as to match with him, right? So it's not, we didn't put a whole lot into this. So even for the studio to be like, okay, it was a success, and bolster it and try to throw it out for certain award shows and things like that, it really only needs to clear a $20 million, 25, even $30 million watermark. That's not hard to do. But even if it doesn't do that, it's going to be hard. I feel like if you're telling me that a lot of people aren't paying attention to Jonathan Majors and Magazine Dreams right now on a mass rate, which I would agree with you, right? Like it's either a lot of out of people's consciousness, a lot of film fans, a lot of Black film fans probably are paying attention to it, but in a general sense, it's probably not registering all that much. But there are films like that throughout the film season all the time that don't get mass appeal, but still get good critical acclaim. Nosferatu, one of them days is doing the same thing right now, right? Like, when nobody talking about no damn Dracula's Helper movie on Christmas Day, but it's got some pretty good critical acclaim. It's here and there, right? There are different markets for different films. I feel like this is a good introduction back for Jonathan Majors, because it's not dependent on him bringing the audience in, right? Like that's not what this movie is dependent on. It's dependent on a good performance from its lead, which Jonathan can deliver. So if all things are equal, it's a good story. This is one of those movies that's probably going to end up doing better on streaming than the theaters anyways. I think it's much more dependent on how he performs in it and how people register, how they resonate with his performance. That'll be much more of a higher hill to climb than what dollar amount does it bring in, because ain't nobody expecting this thing to make no money anyways.
Yes, but it can still flop.
It could flop. If it goes out there and it makes less than $10 million, all of a sudden now it's a financial liability and they're trying to get away from it, like Elevation. But I just don't. It's kind of hard to flop that hard. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to flop that hard.
And he's sort of become a martyr if you think about it. From at least, and I know I'm incubated. I know I'm surrounded by pro Jonathan Majors content creators all over the place on my feed, right? But I think that he's so loved that people are going to be spending some money to watch this guy's movie. On this poll, which you can still vote, and I'll check it later on my Twitter, it's a 3-way tie with 9 votes. Some people say it's got to gross at least 30 million to say he recovered, 40 million, or 50 million. I guess we got to go with 40 million because that's right in the middle. That's what the community right now so far with the small sample size are saying. Yeah, this has got to gross 40 million, and I can agree with 40 million, but I want that 50. I want undeniable. I want 100 million. I don't want any reservations on, I don't know, he got lucky, or this is because of Sundance. No, wait. You guys got to see his new movie that he's filming now, because this was an old movie from Sundance that got critical acclaim. He wouldn't, like, I just want to no, shut up. His talent is there.
You got a couple of super chats I want you to go ahead and grab, because Michael Nemo's doing his thing. But before you do that, that is the science of polls, right? Because you posed a question and you framed it within a certain context. Now, if you went back and asked those same people, is there a financial watermark that proves Jonathan Majors was a success, or could he just give a good performance and prove, or something of that nature, like that takes the dollar amount out of it and then see how people vote? It kind of changes the complexity of the vote. But Michael Nemo has been putting in work on the super chat side. You should give him some love.
Oh yeah, I should give him some
Yeah.
love. Which one you want to
No.
choose?
The first one.
No, which
There was something about Timothy Chalamet, I think was the first one.
Okay.
Oh,
it was fitting.
hey, one of these days we're gonna have to get Dre Mac to ask him what that dance was. We're just gonna ask him where is it from? What were we doing? Just explain. Just help me understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking for a friend.
I thought it was obvious. I thought he was stepping like it was a HBCU dance that he got from his
okay. Well, yeah, that's all well and good. Chill. I'm trying to figure out what will work. That's all. I'm just trying to figure out whose man's was that. I'm trying to figure out what we was doing.
Michael Nemo says Hollywood is dying to put Chalamet. Say his name.
Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet.
In their productions. There are so many roles written for white. I'm not gonna call him that word, honestly.
I refuse because I refuse. My first time seeing Timothée Chalamet was in Interstellar. Obviously, not that big of a role, not that great of a role. I don't think his role in Interstellar was all that. It wasn't all that great. And not only that, he's not in the whole movie. He ages up to a different actor. But
the little boy in the beginning. Oh, that ends up being Matthew McConaughey. Okay.
Yeah.
Brother. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's weird. How do you end up? See, Hollywood don't be caring about stuff like that. How do you birth Timothée Chalamet?
Can you let him finish?
Chalamet, and it end up being Matthew McConaughey. Hey.
Right.
How do you do that?
But to prove what Michael was saying, I disagree because Timothée Chalamet is a true talent. Truly. I truly saw that in Call Me By Your Name when he played opposite Armie Hammer. And then you go on and watch him in Dune. You go on and watch him in Dune. You watch him in Dune 2. You watch him in Beautiful Boy. You watch him in Lady Bird. You watch him in King as King. Like Timothée Chalamet is going to go down. Yes, him and Robert Pattinson and King. He's going to go down in our generation as one of the greatest actors of our time. I can promise you that.
I did see this. Did y'all see his music video where he was rapping?
I did.
Like the Saturday
Night Live? Is this new or is this when he was
high school or something like that?
Yes,
like a high school
Miss Lawton, Miss Lawton. Yeah. That whole rap thing he did.
Hey, man,
he went to the same school as Nicki Minaj and a lot of others. I think rapping was something he really was trying to do.
He got ordained by Little B the bass guy. But I feel like people like that who show it very early, a lack of caring to be embarrassed in public, it's a good sign for a good performer. For sure. People who lay it all the way out and just aren't afraid of being embarrassed in public, that's a great performer.
Perfect setup for the next super chat. What should we play for that? I don't know. Maybe this.
You know what I'm saying?
Michael Nemo, $10
for using my likeness or something, dog.
Leaving Disney is a blessing in disguise. Gets him back to the depthful and interesting roles he seems to like. He got Boyega in having a career go nowhere, regardless of any allegations, in my opinion.
That's the truth. Boyega did have to take a hard right turn back into roles that felt like it mattered after Finn. So, and it hasn't really, like, to I guess to the conversation that we were having, it hasn't really felt like his face has been nearly as visible here in the States as it was when he was Finn, which is unfortunate because it was still nerfed internationally when he had that push. They never really gave him a storyline to work with that mattered. So I kind of agree with Michael Nemo. If I think right now, today, maybe this wasn't the case 10 years ago, but today, if you are up and coming and you don't already have an established name in the industry, it may not be the most serious thing to take on, Marvel or Lucasfilm at the moment, even DC. Just because of the current state, right? Maybe it is a better path for you to be a black Daniel Day-Lewis. You know what I'm saying? We can use some of that, because as it stands, the guys who are getting the push, the guys who are getting the opportunity, dog, they're taking the same roles over and over and over and over. And then you got certain guys that get in and they get their foot in the door and they just take the first snack that they see. It's not very creative. I like to see an actor with depth. I like to see an actor with range. I don't want to see you play the same good guy 40 times, sometimes with the same director, which I'm sure we're going to get to at some point tonight. There's just other things to be. You can be a villain. You can be an anti-hero. You can be someone who's morally ambiguous. Maybe your morals don't even matter in the story. But like, Jonathan's he's not afraid of taking on roles that push the boundaries of what people see him as. So I appreciate that, and I think he'll find success even outside of Marvel.
John Boyega always has, I played Finn. That's why he was able to give up Rebel Ridge, okay? He always knew he's got the Finn role. And I can say Jonathan says, well, I was still Kang. I had him in a Quantumania in the movie, and I had him.
Rebel Ridge was John Boyega's?
Yeah, and Aaron Pierre took it because Boyega had like a family issue or something.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So he still's got the Kang, which is a major film, which most people have seen him in. And he's got White Boy Rick appearances in The Harder They Fall, appearance in The Last Black Man, San Francisco. He's appeared in Creed 3. I think his resume is there, and there's enough to see like, oh, he was in the Five Bloods. This is Jonathan Majors. He's a talent. We're just worried about, do we hire him in our studio and having to deal with, the reckless assault, guilty verdict. Not guilty intentional assault, but
the further we get from that, the less relevant the story is, the more good news you have to put on the plate for trades to consume, the less they will be able to use that well. I would say even the few people, the Hollywood Reporters, the Varieties, discussing film, all of those platforms that chose to take this attitude towards Jonathan Majors on the release of the trailer yesterday, it does come off a little bit poor taste. It doesn't feel the same way it did when Megan, what's her name, was writing all those hit pieces, and Rolling Stone was writing about 40 people who anonymously came forward that never got mentioned or revealed or testified or anything like that, right? Like, it's not that. It's not a constant barrage of misinformation and propaganda against Jonathan Majors. It was a chosen few who needed to be loud for the moment to try to capitalize on the attention that was being paid to the trailer, but it wasn't nearly what it was before. So again, the longer we started kind of put distance in between that situation, just like you said, even the classes are getting ready to be up. We're putting more and more in that behind us. There's success ahead of us. They'll have to start writing about it eventually, because what else do reporters do?
Well, the further away in time we get, and the amount of money Briarcliff is going to rake in from Magazine Dreams and from his other film, Merciless, the less hesitancy there is. Let's just talk about his promotion, though. Where does he hit up? Is it the usuals? He's got to go to Sherry Shepherd. He's got to hit
Jennifer Hudson. Should try to get on Jennifer Hudson if he could.
Yeah. I think that's the first place you go. You go there with Megan, just so you can guys have the spirit tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh, your damn dance, Jonathan. We can't play around. I want you guys to do the bump. I want you and Megan to walk down the hallway, act like you're surprised. Oh, they're singing for us. No, you know it was coming. And then you guys do a kid and play. You guys need to do a dance move that is known to spin a Rooney, all of it. Then I need you guys in WWE. They do this thing where they pan over to the celebrities in the crowd. And I thought they were only...
That would be a dope moment for him to show up to a WWE event. That would be dope promotion.
Do you see they had Matthew McConaughey just on Friday? Last Friday, Matthew McConaughey was sitting...
I haven't been watching SmackDown. I've been watching Raw with my son. He's been catching on. He's been liking it.
Oh, they were in Atlanta for Raw, and they had 2 Chainz, Killer Mike, and Quavo came out with Jey Uso. They had rappers all over the place.
Yeah, all the rappers.
The WWE are thirsty for celebrities. Just sit ringside, have the New Day do a joke about you. Oh, is that your Coretta? Ha ha. Or if that's in post,
leave that shit alone.
I don't think they care. Megan Good said on Breakfast Club, she said we were gonna dress up for Halloween, but we just chose our outfits from last year.
As
we're gonna
Martin Luther King and Coretta, that would have been the best troll. They should have did that shit. But
yeah,
no. I mean,
interview with Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club.
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is a must.
Yeah, see, I feel like Shannon Sharp will be a good one after the movie. Let the movie resonate. Let people want to see you again, and then drop the interview, because you know where Shannon's going to have to go if he goes to that interview. You don't want him talking about that incident right now as he's promoting the movie, and you can't ask Shannon not to talk about it if he comes in to sit down.
So he needs to do a publicity stunt, and not the fake ones where he breaks up the kids fighting in school. I mean, he needs to do.
Are fake by nature. If it's a publicity stunt, they're all fake.
You're right. So he needs to be seen doing something public in media. Like, he's got to promote. Go to the NBA All-Star Weekend again and be there when Mac McClung does another 50 dunk.
Dog, he's not going on Club Shay Shay and not talking about that incident. He's got to leave the sit-down interviews until after the film. You don't want to talk. You don't want nobody talking about that. Let them forget that shit even happened. Let's talk about the movie. But he can't sit down with Shannon Sharp for an hour and not talk about that shit. You know.
I just think that you need the views. You need your name in the atmosphere. So you do that interview where you're in front of 1 million viewers who are going to be wanting to listen.
Good Morning America is what you should try to do. Try to get on Good Morning America, because it has the same amount of reach, but the amount of time they're going to give you is shrunken. So we can get on there for 15-minute set, talk about the movie, talk about the love of my wife, my fiance. Boom, get out of there. Go see Magazine Dreams. Cool. And we on ABC. Oh man, come on. Something like that, like a daytime show. He's not going to get on The View. They're not going to bring him on.
I was going to say The View.
That. But they're not going to bring him on.
Say The View?
Still too much stink on him.
I don't know. I don't know. The ladies at The View, The View is drama. I don't know that you go on The View either, because they're going to ask.
Megan Good is in Harlem with Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg and Megan would probably discuss behind the scenes, or they've probably interacted.
That is a good point. I didn't think about that. Megan Good and Whoopi Goldberg have a relationship. Maybe there's something there. Maybe they could do that.
And that was the angle I was going with it on The View anyway. Whoopi having, being the host.
Whoopi will stand up and defend just about anything. So that would be her strongest ally on the panel.
That's how it would go. So, Jonathan, why was that white woman chasing you?
like for real. Whoopi has set it up just like that. Now, I've heard her say some of the wildest shit on the damn View. If you her friend, she gonna defend you to the soil for sure.
Charlemagne is gonna say wild things too.
He'll make jokes. See, I think he's safe on the Breakfast Club, because even if they bring it up, they're not gonna bring it up like, oh, you assaulted, you had to do all of this, you had probation. He gonna make jokes about it. He was like, man, you turned into Jesse Owens, didn't you? You doing the wrong biopic. You need to be playing Usain Bolt. Something like that. Like, it's not gonna be, he's not gonna put him back in the line of fire if it gets mentioned at all.
I want him to do everyone. I want him to do streamers. I want him to be just unconventional media. Don't stop, because this is the rest of your career. You really got to promote.
Well, why wouldn't they? Yeah, if he called Kai Cenat or one of them, why wouldn't they?
Show Speed, the mayor of Peru.
JBP.
I'm not sure who that is.
The JBP? The Joe Budden podcast? The JBP? Joe Budden?
Oh, okay, Joe Budden. I don't call him JBP. I call him Joe Budden. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Budden podcast.
I'm not not that it matters, but I don't think I should be expected to know JBP is Joe Budden podcast.
No? Okay, my bad. Rogan.
Yeah. No, but how many of that audience is not going to come see a Magazine Dream? They'll come see Creed 3.
That's what I was going to say, brother. I don't know. Rogan's audience.
Y'all talked about it. You just talked about it. What was the last like shunned film that Briarcliff picked up?
Donald Trump.
You don't think Rogan's audience is going to say, "Oh, another Briarcliff film"? Jonathan Majors, Joe Rogan.
Okay, it's also a large
If
audience,
Trump
so
does
even
it
if
and
you
get
get
something out
1%
of
of
it-
that large, sorry,
I was gonna say, if Trump does it and gets something out of it, you don't think Jonathan Majors can't take nothing from a shoulder rub with Joe Rogan?
okay, yeah, maybe fitness and the mixed martial arts community, maybe there's like a crossover there. Yeah,
And I'm also saying,
But
it
is
because of
Joe
the-
also not gonna ask?
He'll
Yes,
ask.
he is. Joe's gonna ask. He should ask. Well, he's not the president. I was about to say he stayed off of Trump, but he's not the president, so he's probably not going to let it go by without mentioning that.
So he might not need to risk the Joe Rogan thing, but a positive Joe Rogan interview could go a long way. But he probably shouldn't risk it.
Who else?
We got them all. Let's go to
We got
Sinners.
them all. We don't go on white sins. I mean, it was just an idea. We need to promo, Raymond. We need the promo. We need the platform, not the person. But I understand. I get it.
You want to go straight into Sinners, or you want to do? Because we're not watching that trailer, are we? Because that's going to get
we'll
flagged.
get flagged.
We ain't watching that trailer.
Oh, by the way, I said
Sticklers.
I'd revisit that poll, and it's 30 million and 40 million people are saying that's who's leading. The
Very
poll.
low bar. Very low bar.
Low bar. And Trey Mack will have Jonathan on his show. I could see that happening because that's not a hostile environment. But no disrespect to Dre Mack, friend of the channel. We just beef for fun. That's not on the level of like Joe Rogan, Charlemagne. I'm just saying.
It would be nice to see him kick it back. There's been some channels that have, definitely held the man down. We would like to see that paid forward at some point. Now I'm, not to say anything. I'm sure their relationship is fine, but I'm just as an observer. I think Dre Mack has been a pretty loyal soldier when it comes to Jonathan Major. So I would love to see that paid forward at some point.
Oh yeah. I feel for sure. Dre has been the number one Jonathan Major supporter, in my opinion, even above Megan. This is
don't treat my man like that.
I would say no to Stephen A. Just because to me Stephen A. is such a fucking clown. Now I don't know, Steve, because he's also asking.
Yeah, it's got to be a place where they're not going to do a long form interview. And any of those personalities like that, Stephen A., Shannon, Rogan, they're going to want to sit down and talk. They want to talk. They want to get into it. So,
and they don't want to talk about anything else.
He's going to have to get on a talk show. He's going to have to go on a place where they only have.
And he'd be he would be so exaggerated with it. Now tell me, brother, what happened? Like Stephen A. is so that is a clown nigga. Back of the bus.
Sinners.
Majors and Dr. Umar would be insane. Now, brother, tell me, why exactly are you a bunny hopper? Please explain to the people. I need to know, brother. Was it something in your past? Was it your mother? You need to tell me now. Why didn't you pick an African queen first? You found an African queen. Understand? Why didn't you get an African queen first? You understand that all your problems started there, right? You understand that all your problems started there, right? You let a colonizer in your bed.
Wow, that's
what up, damn.
Speaking of Nubian queens, hello, gentlemen. Who wants Stephen A. spitting all over the place? I mean,
telling you, I cannot stand Stephen A. Now, sinners. Now, I want to go on record and say, you can go back and watch our Sinners video that I did months ago when this was talked about over last summer. I said in that video, I don't care for Ryan Coogler, but the plot synopsis of this has me interested. It still has me interested. This looks like it's going to be pretty good.
They say Jonathan Majors could have played one of these characters. This was for him, except Michael B. just excommunicated himself from the Jonathan Majors group.
I didn't expect you to mention that so early, but since you brought it up, okay, I'll just say this: I don't feel like, at least from what we've seen so far, and it's just trailers, right? There's still a lot of context missing, yada yada yada. I don't really see what the twin thing has to do with the rest of the movie. I don't know why it had to happen.
I will agree with that.
I feel like it was someone else. Maybe it wasn't Majors. It was definitely somebody else, though. And instead of recasting that spot, they just went and said, well, my guy can do both. You know, my bestest actor in the world can do both, is how they feel like they landed on that. Because it doesn't feel like it, other than the shock value of seeing two Michael B. Jordans on screen right next to each other, it doesn't really seem like it plays a purpose. I will say that this film looks great. It looks very good visually. Looks really good. But is that not what the standard is for Ryan Coogler at this point? Like, my boy can make a ham sandwich look like a 5-course meal if you give him the right lens to shoot with. I'm getting a lot of, I think he even mentioned this, John Carpenter vibes from Dusk Till Dawn, or a lot of his old horror films. It felt like that's what we were setting up. Like, we're probably to do this entire movie within maybe 2 days, right? They're not going to give you a whole lot of history on characters. It's going to be very tightly shot, and I'm getting that from the trailer. They're not going back. They're not going forward. This entire thing is probably going to be shot within a couple of days, or the entire premise of the movie is going to be shot within a couple of days. I don't know when we're going to see. Maybe it's this film. Because we're projecting a lot, or at least I am, because we don't know a lot about it. But I want to see Ryan progress with his pen. The visuals are always going to be there. That's the naturally talented part of him as a director. It's always going to look nice. I want the story to make sense. And I, for the life of me, still don't know what this damn movie is about. Other than the fact that they're going to be attacked at their juke joint now. You know, we got that from the newer film. I mean, from the newer trailer. They having a party at a juke joint, and then they'll get attacked by any number of things. But that's it. That's what I got. Michael B. Jordan is twins, and they're gonna have to fight monsters. The end.
Yeah, looks like I said. From what I'll agree on that part as far as the what you said at the very beginning. I don't understand the twin aspect. It didn't make sense in the trailer. It doesn't make sense in the plot synopsis. So with that, I agree. Still don't know what the film is about. It looks like it's going to be interesting as far as the vampire stuff that's going on. People getting bit and turning into vampires that weren't vampires early on in the trailer. I will agree with someone that said also in the comments they think that it showed too much. It did show a lot. It showed a lot to where there were
one of the brothers is gonna end up whatever.
Yeah,
you don't know if he's gonna be a vampire or a spirit, because there's also multiple monsters. One of the problems that I've had with Coogler's writing is that he tends to lack focus and narrative. Like, it bounces around a lot. He juggles a lot of plates, and I fear that that's kind of where we're headed with this. We got a lot of faces, a lot of stars. There's a lot going on. There's vampires. It seems like there's demons involved. It's just, there's possession. It seems like it's going to happen at some point. So that means it's some sort of spirit or ghost. It's a lot of shit going on here, man. I hope he's got the script pretty tight to keep it all making sense.
So these are the stars. Michael B., star. Josh Allen's girlfriend, star. And then everyone else is not.
Robert Rodriguez, you're right. He did Dusk Till Dawn. Thank you, K.O. Joe.
Jamie
Carpenter.
Lawson.
Go ahead.
Jamie Lawson, she was the mayor in the Batman. She's the Storm like pick that we all like. Jamie Lawson.
Yep, she is in this.
Everybody else, Delroy Lindo, I do know who he is, but
Delroy Lindo.
he wasn't really. He's not a star. I hope Michael B gets that Oscar, just like Michael, not Michael, but just like Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey. They say that he took both of the roles because the way an Oscar is given is like your performance in the movie. So if you play two characters, they'll factor that in. And they're saying that he was doing that as a last way to get him back for the movie because he retired. They're saying you're going to play in Sonic the villain. You're going to be Eggman and Robotnik. It'll be a thing. And
that's how Jamie Lee Curtis got her last Oscar. She played like 4 different versions of herself and everything always all at once. Even though she was like, I don't even know if you could really call her a supporting character. She was like a background character, character, but she won an Oscar.
And it still wasn't. She could have played 2 more people, and it still wasn't what Angela Bassett did in that throne room.
Yeah, it still wasn't what Angela Bassett did.
Nah.
So, similar question to what we just asked about the Briarcliff film and Jonathan Majors, Magazine Dreams. What do we need to see from this $90 million budget of, Warner Brothers and Ryan Coogler to determine that it is a success?
That's right.
I'm not answering first. I answered first last time.
You got to double the 90 million for sure. So 180, absolutely. But I think more than that. What did Bad Boys? Bad Boys was also 90 million, and they grossed 400 million.
Mm-hmm.
So Bad Boys is considered a success with 400 million. I would say just make 300 million with your 90 million box office, and I'm happy. It's a April release. There's enough reason for people to go outside. It's April. I think Michael B. Jordan is a big enough star. Haley Steinfeld's not going to be at the Super Bowl. I was going to factor that in because that's promotion, whether you think it is or not. Damn. Let me just say 310 million. If I need it to be 310 million, and I'll be happy with it, and I'll say we successfully got in, got out. Michael B's star power doesn't take a hit. He will still be able to ask for more money. Yeah.
I didn't get horror vibes from it. Did you get horror vibes? I didn't feel the horror.
That's what it's supposed to be about. Vampires and demons and
supposed to be horror?
Yeah.
Oh. See, horror for me is very different. That's not horror for me. That's more like, I consider that sci-fi, thriller, action. Horror is like you got a poltergeist in your house. You like there's demons that you can't see pulling bitches' hair and shit through the air. Like
I think that's what the little swirling fire thing out what Michael B was holding a young man. I think that's what that was supposed to be. Again, fam, there's a lot of stuff going on in this film. I don't know what. It hasn't been clearly communicated to this point, but it looks pretty. It looks pretty. Great. Tales of another MCU film that shall go unnamed.
Looks beautiful.
Go ahead.
I was going to echo what you said. It looks too beautiful to be considered a horror movie. I am rooting for it to make money.
I would say, first of all, this is not making $300 million. It's not going to make $300 million. I do think this was shot in the vein of a Jordan Peele-esque black cultural / horror film, right? It's horror content, so you can't really get away from the substance that you're writing. It is what it is. Now, from the standpoint of how they shoot it, do they shoot it more like an action film? That is certainly more up the alley of Ryan Coogler than probably what Jordan leans into. But then again, this is supposed to be something that's a little bit more personal for Ryan, according to the what was it, the Hollywood Reporter thing that they did.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that quote he gave,
don't talk about it, bro. It's too on the nose. It's too on the nose. Like again. It's bad, man. I try to not pinpoint the things in him that are very present and that are very like easily identifiable. I'm trying to give him as much a roadway as he can take, but like he's like, all right, well, man, it's a very personal story, it's about my grandfather and about my uncle. by my great uncle that I never met, and they were both queer, and it's a very personal story to me. It's like, yeah, Ryan, everything that you make is very personal to you, and it comes through in the work, and sometimes to the detriment. And so I'm just hoping that doesn't bleed into this film, because this is like his first chance to do something original for me, to show me that he's one of the ones, that he's one of the elites. I feel like a lot of people try to elevate him there just so that they can say that they know a black director. Let me be honest. Like, a lot of people say things about Ryan Coogler that don't apply. Now, if you think Ryan Coogler is a great director, that's not that's not what I'm saying. That needs to be taken back or called into question. But when you say Ryan Coogler is a great director, and then you say a whole bunch of stuff that he hasn't done, or you say a whole bunch of things about him that he doesn't lean on as a director, then I know you're just full of shit. You're just saying it so that you can have a black guy on your list.
That's it. It's the popular black guy. It's the same reason people were like, oh, Cynthia Erivo would be a great Storm, because you just saw her as Elphaba. She's the popular black face at the moment. So it's like, oh, well, they all look alike. That one. So yeah, they do the same shit with Ryan. He's the popular black director at the moment. So they're like, oh yeah, that one, that guy. That's why That's why everybody was like, even though they knew nobody believed this shit. Ryan Coogler would be great for Secret Wars. No one believed that.
I was like, Secret Wars? Jesus.
People said that because black director, that one. Yeah, so he's the prevalent one at the moment. That's why.
And that's not to take anything away from Ryan Coogler. Again, he's one of the more talented men in Hollywood with a lens. I critique his stories. I critique how he comes upon the synopsis of his stories. It is always connected to some trauma, a loss, a family member that's not alive anymore, a trauma that was felt early in life. There's always some sort of personal connection that ends up dragging down the overall story for me as a viewer.
Yep. I agree.
Like, even with Jordan Peele, when he takes these very dark thematic tones, when we end, there's some sort of, I don't know, man. It feels better for some reason. I don't know. I can't tell you why, but for some reason or another, I can take the dark tone of Jordan Peele's movies, compartmentalize it, and then by the end of the film, try to feel like there was something redeeming about the premise, right? Like, yeah, dude got drug out in the middle of nowhere with, his racist organ swapping girlfriend and her family, but, he came out on top at the end. Or, yeah, maybe there are tethers of us, and I don't really know what the redeeming factor of us was. I'll struggle with that one. I don't know. But nope. He ended up being the hero. He saved his sister, and she got to live on and live her life. Like, there just aren't very many redeeming qualities in the stories that Coogler writes, or at least that I can point out.
Let's hear what Buck's thoughts has to say about it. Money, money, money.
Money, money, money. You just mad cause your ass is old. First thing you do is just pick up the phone.
That song with Shaq is crazy.
Why? Because he was a history of like being upset at all of the former big men.
He bumps heads with a lot of young dudes. Yes, he just mad because your ass is old.
Yeah. And Dwight Howard actually won me over when Dwight Howard was talking about Shaquille O'Neal. Like you're mad at me over Superman? Doesn't make sense. No. And I danced with you, and I'm like, you're right, Dwight.
No, he's not.
The debate he just had with Ernie and them the other day about Jimmy Butler not playing as hard and things like that. Shaq can't ever admit, though, when, nigga, you're wrong in the argument. Like, did you see that debate between him? But with him, Ernie, it was him, Ernie, Chuck, everybody up there.
Was he defending Jimmy Butler?
he was defending Butler, all of them made so many valid points. And Shaq was like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not doing that. Or he's his brother. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, Shaq, brother, you're wrong. Like,
No. Shaq is not. He's not all knowing. He's not like infallible. He's capable of having a bad take. I don't really know what he said about the Jimmy Butler thing, so I'll concede that. Dwight Howard was a chronic underperformer for the entire middle.
You're a Lakers fan, the bias. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's right.
No. He was a chronic underperformer for the entire middle half of his career. He broke into the league. He was a gangbuster, defensive player of the year, made it to the finals, lost to Kobe, whatever. The minute he got traded off for Orlando and came to LA, it was a million back surgeries. It was first of all, he didn't even resign with the Lakers. It was I'm gonna go make more money in Houston, and then it didn't work out in Houston. And he had the same injuries in Houston, and then it was up out of there. Oh, I gotta go to Atlanta, but then it didn't work in Atlanta because it was the same story than it was in LA and in Houston, and then it was on to Charlotte. Except Charlotte couldn't use him because he couldn't stay on the floor there either. Do you see the pattern here? And all along, Shaq is telling that man, get healthy, dominate in the paint. Stop trying to drift your game out the paint. Stop trying to drift your game out of the paint. Get healthy, get dominant, get back to the paint. Stop trying to drift out the paint. And meanwhile, while Dwight Howard is getting shuffled from NBA team to NBA team trying to learn how to shoot threes, the only thing that redeemed his career was what? Coming back to the Lakers, dominating in the paint. So you finally started doing what Shaq had been telling you to do since you were at the Lakers the first time. And now I'm supposed to take your side versus Shaquille O'Neal? No. What he told you to do was correct. And what he was calling you out for was correct. And it only took you to damn near make it out the league altogether to realize it. And you still pointing the finger back at Shaq? No, Shaq is the Superman. He's Superman. He's Superman, dog. He got 4 of them things. 4. 2 league MVPs. He is Superman. He gets to pick his title. Okay. Don't fight him on that. Don't be JaVale McGee. Don't. Why are you doing this? Go win a chip. Go win another defensive player of the year. Go win something of note. And it wasn't until he did that Shaq finally let up off of him. Just win. Go do something, Dwight.
You won a dunk contest. I'm kidding. Let's get off of that. Buck Stoss with $4.99. Thank you. Appreciate you. He says it seems like it's going to be 2 different movies in one. The twin story and then the can story. Is that a typo? What does he mean, the can? The vampire story? And then
he meant the vampire story.
Yeah.
The vamp story, maybe.
He put another chat here that said I meant the vampire story.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, does feel disjointed a bit.
I don't know what this movie's about. That was my first time watching the trailer with you guys right here, right now. And I just watched the stills, so I don't know. I'm happy, though, to go in. Because when you know you're going to spend money on something anyways,
seen the trailer.
I don't need spoilers.
You haven't watched the trailer?
Nah.
Oh. Well, you should probably take a peek.
But is it bad if a movie has 2 stories going on at once?
No, but it's a task. And it does take a very good writer to make it run congruently to make it make sense.
We all watched Game of Thrones and we saw everything that Daenerys was doing over there for like 6 seasons. She never even came to Westeros, and it was 2 stories going on at once. It can happen. But that's a TV show. And I know
Ryan Coogler's pen is on the level of David Lindelof.
He did Game of Thrones? I thought it was Ben Wise.
Wise. I'm sorry. Not Lindelof. The writer. The guys.
The brothers.
The brothers.
Aren't they brothers?
Maybe. No, their last names are Benioff and Weiss. So
Benioff and Weiss.
The dude who killed T'Challa because an actor playing the role wasn't his truths is not a great director. He's a great liar. Yep. We need someone other than Mandela Stenberg for movies. Hey, I'm reading the book, and there's no reason why Children of Blood and Bones cast must be Nigerian. That's some bull. There's nothing in there where it goes.
Did they say specifically Nigerian? Was that another drag on the on the casting. Okay.
Yup.
I'm
Even
finding that
after
the Mandela thing, her casting specifically, may not have been devoid of the colorism thing, devoid of that specific part. It may actually end up being a good role for her. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, I read the parts where they talk about the skin color of Princess Amari. I read it, and Amanda is the wrong casting for that role. However, like I said last time, and I'm rehashing, like I said last time, if there's no colorism in the movie, that's a positive, so I don't care that much. Marcus, it's not easy coming back from 3. No, I can't read the rest of this because he's going to go on another 10-minute tangent. Let's go to the next topic.
No. I get the injury stuff, right? It was an equal factor. I will say the way that Dwight chose to play what he tried to do to try to acquiesce to those injuries, maybe it would have benefited you to just take the time off, get healthy, instead of constantly coming back and then shooting threes. It just wasn't a very proficient product in the midst of those injuries. But I will agree the injuries played their factor as well.
George R.R. Martin did Game of Thrones. Those boys didn't do anything. Fair enough. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, this is in this getting delayed because of
it is getting delayed because of some breach of agreement, breach of contract. I forget the little boy's name. What is the boy's name? His family had an agreement with the Jackson estate that if there was any biographies or anything ever made of Michael's life, that his part in all of the scandal and falseness would be taken out.
That is crazy, bro. That is crazy. I'm gonna bring this case about you.
Yes, Jordan.
Our case is is pretty frivolous. It's pretty light, but you're gonna pay just to make me go away. But even within that pay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm protected from ever being seen as the money-hungry individual, allegedly, that I actually am. So not only do you have to pay me, but you have to protect my reputation in perpetuity, even in your death. Damn, they had a good lawyer. Oh, they had a good lawyer. They had an absolute shark.
Yeah, for sure. Some in the chat are saying that it's not true. Raymond said that this news story came from someone who is close to the Leaving Neverland project, where Juan said, yeah, the media is running the same baseless story. I don't believe the reshoots are because the estate will be sued by the Chandler family, as that makes no logical sense.
Okay. Hey, listen, that was just the information that I had gotten, but
that's what I had seen too. That's what a lot of the trades and things were running with as well. So somebody somewhere is lying. Either it is the estate or the trades, or information is being crossed. But the film has been delayed. What is the reason? The real reasoning behind it, if not this, not sure. But the also what they said in that article was that they now have to rewrite this entire part of the film, or the scene of the film, or whatever, how big of a role it plays. So if that's not true, I wonder what is going on. Is there any? And I heard. Sorry, just asking Juan and Raymond if you had any insight on what may actually be going on.
It said that the family is paying because it's their mistake. They're going to be paying to reshoot everything because, I don't know, Michael Jackson's estate just has that much money. Well, then what is the point of this film then? You guys have a lot of money. Do you just want like Michael Jackson's name to be cleared and have like a positive spin on it? I mean,
it has to be.
You said, what's the point of it?
It's not a money. It's not a money thing. It's definitely
the
being able to tell the story of their uncle or their brother.
Being able to accurately tell the story, to be able to control the narrative that is going out. Also, not have these spun out fucking headlines, wacko jacko, predator, this kid, this. No, stop all that. Innocent, because he was already proven that in a court of law. So now it's the family and the estate taking it into their hands. We're going to tell you the actual story of our
This is
brother,
a
of my
good point as
father,
well
of my
from
son.
Raymond. They're not, the Jackson family is actually not in control of the estate. That was actually something that came out right before the movie date got announced. I think Katherine Jackson, I think she had just lost in court to the ambiguous children. Blanket and the girl, the other one. You know,
Paris, Prince, and Biggie.
is it Biggie? I thought it was Blanket. Isn't one of them
He
named
changed
Blanket?
it. He changed it.
B.I.G.I.
He changed his name. Okay, of course he did. First of all, what a travesty that they are
Yeah.
in control of that. It just, my God. And for the people that still believe that those are Michael Jackson's biological children, it's just like for real? Like you think I can, like, this can go away, but then even in my DNA it'll go away too, huh? Like you can scrub my genes and just make it go away. Yeah, absolutely. Spitting image, huh?
Wait, how? Yeah, this. I don't know about this. All three?
They are not his natural children, but
What
more
kind
so
of
that
Amanda Waller recreate Bruce Wayne's
he
genetics
had a
is that?
relationship with that lady. I don't think that his relationship to those children was biological. Let's just say that.
Huh.
But
Here
yeah,
I am doing.
they are the ones that are in control of his estate, not Janet and Catherine and all the surviving members of his biological family.
Now, that is not to say, like we said earlier, that they're not going to dive into the things that happened in Michael's life. They talked about that. They are going to dive into all of that. The scandal, all of it.
Until court also over the estate funds. Biggie wants to stop wasting lawyers. She wants to continue. Who's she? Catherine or
Catherine. He doesn't. Yeah, it's Catherine.
That's his mom. I'm not gonna be mad at her for that necessarily, because on the other side of it, I have people who aren't, you know. Anyways, we can. I guess I mean, but that's relevant to the story, right? That is absolutely relevant to it. Is the legal battle on the back end of, you know, them trying to acquire that money. That it has to play a role in this film, I would think, because isn't his nephew his actual nephew is playing Michael? He's starring in the role.
Jafar is playing him. Yeah. Yes. No, yeah, and looks just in the pictures. My God, he looks just like him, and some of those behind the scenes, different eras of Mike.
So interesting, because this is not like any other movie. This is really about getting a story out, changing public perception from his loved ones, whether they're his kids or not his kids.
I'm sorry, like Juan said too, it's his legacy. I mean, we are talking the greatest, and this is not up for debate. There will never be another. The greatest entertainer of all time. Do you have any stories and things that have been spun about Mike? The only people to ever get an accurate story done about the Jackson family is that first biography, Jackson's The American Dream. It used to come on VH1, might still come on VH1.
Mm-hmm. That's my Jackson biography right there.
Yeah,
I feel like it got a lot of good points. It got his upbringing, it got the accident. It briefly touched on you know, his skin issues a little bit. Didn't get into the whole, you know, evolutions of Michael going through the.
I'm not even doing that, Cornelius. I've had this conversation many times, and I love Beyonce. There will never be another Michael Jackson. Beyonce's not, and the thing that I always put to it is, when you can step into, and this is not just at concerts. You can look up Michael Jackson at when he popped up randomly at the Arsenio Hall show or whatever. The crowd would not let this man speak. he could move a finger and point at the crowd and everybody in that fucking section is going to faint. Beyonce does not have that power. She cannot come on a stage. She cannot come on a stage where people are just the ambulance is getting drug in. People are leaving on stretchers. That's not that same mania. It's not.
I'm a Mike. If you made me choose, like if I had to like lose a finger and then I still had to pick between Beyonce and Michael Jackson, I'm definitely going Michael Jackson, right? But here's the bit of bias that even as a Michael Jackson fan, I can say that the king has over Beyonce is that he established all these watermarks. And so even at that point where even some of the numbers would line up, it's never really going to be equal for Beyonce because he is the standard starer. He's the standard bearer. He's the one who set the line. So like in that, everything is a comparison to Michael Jackson as opposed to us viewing it as a Beyonce, purely Beyonce versus Michael Jackson. It is how does Beyonce line up versus this watermark that Michael Jackson set, as opposed to these are two contemporaries battling each other. It'll never be that. It can't be that.
Exactly. And that's the thing that the fact that we have to, anytime we try to compare a artist to Michael, it's always the term Michael Jackson famous. That's a term. Are they Michael Jackson?
There's a reason why the boy from Toronto was trying to compare his career to that of Michael Jackson,
exactly.
and you know, not other artists. There are reasons why he specifically picked Michael Jackson to run after.
Well,
and I agree with what Cornelius just said there.
Mike's a close second.
Okay, and I'll agree there on what he said about Beyonce. Yeah, Beyonce is definitely there's never going to be another Beyonce. But when it comes to that just pure star power that Michael Jackson has, bro, like I said, I was on Instagram the other day and our Snoop Dogg posted some of our Arsenio Hall's best moments. Mike wasn't even scheduled to be on the motherfucking show. Just showed up. The crowd couldn't even get out why he was fucking there. People found, oh my God, Michael. Like it's a different fame.
There's a good way that we can level all of this out and make everybody understand just kind of what we're talking about, right? So Beyonce, her halftime performance will probably go down as one of the best ever, if not the best halftime performance, right? Everybody knows how that show in general came about, right?
Jay-Z?
No. The Super Bowl halftime show in general.
The Super Bowl halftime show overall.
So Michael Jackson one year held a concert at the exact same time as the Super Bowl, and it nerfed the Super Bowl's viewership. And so from that year on, every year from that year on, they said, oh, no, never again. And so then was birthed the Super Bowl halftime show.
I thought it was the Wayans brothers who did that, where at halftime they played an episode of their show.
It was Michael Jackson's performance. It was his concert that he put on during the Super Bowl. You said
Magic
it was
Johnson told the story.
In Living Color. I don't know if In Living Color would have drawn national football eyeballs or national football eyeballs, but Michael Jackson,
you can throw whatever name
absolutely
you want to throw in the chat because I see so many different names. Even in death, the man is in a lane of his own. Sorry, you throw whatever name you want to throw in there. James. Of course, we all know. Not on that level.
Not on that level. Just like Anthony Mackie. Were you going to continue?
Nope. Moving on.
But the segue was about Anthony Mackie. He's not on the level of Chris Evans' level when it comes to promoting Captain America, Brave New World. So by now, I'm sure everyone has heard it. Oh, I should probably play it just for the reference. But he spoke in a crowd in Rome. That's another country called Italy, everybody. And he was like, it's not necessarily America. It's about these characteristics. And he was talking about his role. He then got backlash from those who were not going to see the movie anyways. And he got a lot of heat where he went on Instagram to clear things up. He cleared things up on Instagram. He was like, yeah, I support the troops. What? Oh, wait, what? I thought that was stupid to say I support the troops. Like, no one questioned your troopsness. You didn't mention it in your quote. I don't know where that came from. Sometimes you got to not tell. Sometimes you got to not defend yourself. If someone throwing accusations at yourself, at you validate the accusations when you speak. He misspoke. He was wrong. Or he was not wrong, but he misspoke and he had opportunity for his words to be misconstrued. He should have just fully addressed and said, hey guys, look at this clip. When I said this, what I actually meant was that. Don't listen to anyone trying to say that I don't rep Captain America. Obviously, I'm wearing red, white, and blue. I am an American character. Like, I'm not trying to pretend like it's not an American thing. That's stupid. What I meant was we were in Italy and I was saying don't focus on the America thing. That's what he should have said. He would have got in and got out. And then on top of everything I just told you, I don't care. This is not a character with foundation. Sam Wilson is the Falcon, and the brand of Captain America will return to being the white guy again. If this movie makes $46, it won't matter to me. Here's the clip.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like, it's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of, this is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of us as actors, I believe, want to get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes that.
You get the point there. He's just going to ramble on longer about that. I think what's important is the way that he said Captain America, and he made his hands like America, look like he's talking about the label and the alias. And I think that speaks volumes. Now, if you just write that in a quote on a headline, it doesn't look
a lot of different things. And I don't think the term, America should.
When someone says the word, right before they say what's next, usually it means like we have an understanding of what I mean when I say this. Everyone in the room did at least. America. Yeah, he was talking about the term. And then he mentioned characteristics, which are not, it's not a nationality. It's not something you stamp on your passport. I can defend his line. And I can also say it was foolish to not know what you would have received coming out of that. So to Anthony Mackie, no, let me throw it to you guys because I was going to change the topic to something else. What do you guys think about the quote and everything?
Go, Darius.
I'll be honest. The way that the media and the internet were spinning it was not my take on it. My simple, and maybe I'm too simple. Maybe I'm not paying attention to the politics of it all. And I want to say this too, when it comes to Brave New World, even before, I was never looking at Brave New World for the politics or any of that stuff. So I don't know if I'm just out of the political sphere of it all, but I never took his comments as political either. I took it as simply as the nigga just didn't know who he's playing. Like when he said, there's no America. What do you mean there's no America in Captain America? Like, so I didn't understand what the front end of of his answer had to do with the back end of his question with the kid and the drag. So I don't know if it's just my disdain for Mackie or what it is, but I didn't take it the political route. I just thought he just doesn't understand the character. I don't know why he said that. And then again, the kid and dragon analogy, I wish he'd put that and apply it to the T'Challa stuff because we understand it there. But anyway, that was my takeaway.
All right. So, first of all, for everyone that said that Anthony Mackie should have just told the line and not gotten controversial. What are you talking about? You are Captain America. Of course you're supposed to rep America. You're full of shit. You are full of shit. and his first inclination to reject the whole Americanism part of the Captain America title was the right one, because that's what Chris Evans did. Huh? When Chris Evans was asked this question about Captain America, he didn't cloak himself in patriotism. He didn't go, I'm an American patriot through and through, baby. Go America, go. He didn't do that shit. See, but when Chris Evans gave his answer about it, he stood on business. He didn't flounder about for another minute and a half talking about giraffes and green people and it not mattering about race. See, he stepped all over his answer in the same quote. What Captain America represents is what America is supposed to be, but it's not necessarily America. Let me take everybody back to Civil War. When Captain America chose the side opposite of the American government. Like, or we can even start on the Age of Ultron when we are having these anti-establishment type conversations with Steve Rogers. Has everybody forgotten what the character of Captain America is? He is the ideal of America. He is not America. We understand. We get that, right? We understand that is what the character is in general. So when when Anthony Mackie says, I don't think that America necessarily is the thing that we're supposed to be representing when we play Captain America, that's where he should have stuck that shit. But somewhere along the line, as he's talking, he's realizing I'm not doing this as well as Chris. I need to pivot. I need to pivot. It's like he had confidence in himself for 2 seconds and then he stepped all over his answer. Put your foot in the paint. Hey, what you explaining to these people for? First of all, I told the group, I told Pantheon, I told Back of the Bus, told anybody who would listen that putting this man in the mantle of Captain America was going to have a very obvious, very real conflict with you having this black man having to hold up the stars and stripes, and how that was going to be a contrast to what Steve's entrance to this title would be. It's completely different. It's completely different context. They attempted to hit on that briefly in Falcon and Winter Soldier, right, with Isaiah Bradley's story and how the contrast was. I was the actual first Captain America, and they threw me into a test tube, right? They threw me into a laboratory to poke and prod on me for years, and then they threw me away. That's what the real first Captain America got, not this blonde hair, blue-eyed guy that they got to do propaganda for the American government. And even he rejects that. Even he rejects that idea. So if you are clinging to the idea that Captain America is the shining representation of America, you're drunk. You never understood the character in the first place, and stay over there. Stay over there. Anthony Mackie on the other side doesn't have enough backbone to stand on it. Like, I didn't even like the response to it. Of course, I support our troops. Fam, you wasn't talking about that to begin with. Why is it incumbent on you to support the soldiers? We weren't talking about military in the first place. Wasn't even the context of the conversation. Why is it incumbent on people to say support the troops in their responses to stuff that has nothing to do with the troops?
I don't know. It's like the national anthem stuff with Colin
Because
Kaepernick. You don't like the troops? He got the kneel thing from the troops.
I'm talking about black people getting killed here in America. The hell that got to do with American soldiers in Afghanistan?
Well, you see, the
Because
song
they
is so
politicize this movie so much. Like that's why I said before I even made my statement, I don't know if I really don't care. I don't care about the political signals that may or may not be coming from Brave New World. I'm too busy paying attention to the fucking political world storm that we're getting hit with day after day after day. So the real one. So I don't know if I'm just not paying attention to that shit, but I also agreed. I didn't feel he needed to apologize for the way that people were interpreting this, because the way that people were interpreting to me I was exhausted with it. I was like, that just wasn't my takeaway, not mine.
Y'all put a black man in the Stars and Stripes and expected it not to be controversial, and then tried to deal with it. Now, one thing I will say is that this is the most inopportune time to have this conversation. I don't know why he chose now, like a few weeks out
Jesus,
from the
yes.
movie, to drum up this
He
conversation.
didn't
But it
choose
was always
Someone
going to
was
be a
recording
thing, and
it.
I don't know why he chose now.
He didn't choose it. Thought he was in freaking Rome, Italy. The guy trying to translate my answer. Where like I can say whatever I want. It's all good. But somebody there had their phone and made this a thing.
But he made it all this time, Chill, without giving this quote, and he's felt this way this entire time. So like, why they let it
Definitely could have gave a
linger?
better
It was
answer.
obvious that this was going to be a conflict at some point. It was never not going to be a thing where like the black guy being Captain America wasn't going to be controversial. So like, why now we're getting communication about him speaking directly about it? It feels like the wrong timing. But I don't feel like he should have shied away from the answer at all.
Don't shy away from the answer. I just wish that he would have had a better PR team, somebody to prep him before, because let's not pretend like Marvel's not aware of the political signals or whatever the fuck these little groups are talking about or whatever. So they could have prepped him for that. Oh, you might get hit with this question. This is what we could say. This is what, whatever. But I also, this is a Marvel fault to me also. Like prep your fucking actors.
I don't think it was Marvel. I think that was on him, and he made that statement. He was in Italy. It's not about America, so you can still resonate with this character. Don't worry about the America part. It just came out incorrectly, or not incorrectly, but it came out vulnerable enough to be picked. Now his latest is, let's just go to the movies and chill the F out. We could have made this effort yellow, and it would have been a problem. That's because people are comparing this red guy to this guy here. And that's like a cool answer. Let's just go to the movies. And this movie is called Captain America. And it's
I don't
not
like
starring
that. It
Captain
sounds
America.
like he's begging people to forget about the controversy and please come see my movie. I don't like that angle. I hate that angle.
Don't care.
Just shut up with your complaints. Just go watch the movie. Like that's never a winning strategy. Shut up and go watch this stuff is never a good approach.
What I do care about the most is the narrative that's going to come out from this. This movie is going to make Ant-Man numbers. And now it could be Ant-Man 2 or it could be Ant-Man 3, but it's making Ant-Man numbers. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want the narrative to be, well, it's because that actor spoke, And unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. It's going to be
that's what it's going to be. But no. Those people that are going to be saying that are people that just tuned in to what is Brave New World. New World was doomed after its 17th reshoot. Okay, so we were way past Ant-Man numbers before he spoke. So no, that's not the reason. But you're right. That is the narrative that they're going to spin.
I say Brave New World was doomed in 2019 when Old Man Rogers gives the shield to Sam and pats it, and then they made a movie based off of him. That's when it was doomed. Mantle swaps. I wanted the narrative to be mantle swaps don't work. We'll always make less money because Shuri made less money than T'Challa. Second time at it, Falcon makes less than Cap. We'll stop it. I want that to be the lesson. But they're going to go telling themselves, oh man, if just Anthony would have just shut his mouth in Italy, that ruined their whole movie.
They had a chance here, man. When he was doing that whole, he was struggling with the identity that he was going to take on when he was doing the shield. He should have taken the shield and still went by Falcon and left Captain America for Steve, because it does a couple of things, right? He takes on the mantle. He takes on the responsibility that Steve gave him. It's not like he's giving it up. It's not like he's throwing it away or treating it as his lesser. He's keeping the shield. Yep. But his identity in comparison to who Steve Rogers was with this shield has to be in its own. Has to be his own. That's what they were trying to tell us in that show the whole time, until he started calling himself Captain America all of a sudden.
At the very end. Very end.
You stepped all over it. All the work that you were attempting to do, you threw it away and made him slide behind Steve Rogers.
No, Marcus, you idiot. They made him promoted because now he's like the white man. That's a promotion. And if you don't think that way,
now you're like a white guy. Yeah, you got a promotion.
Yeah, he was a black IP. Falcon? No, white guy. Yeah.
Falcon, Brave New World, man.
Not just anyone gets this.
It's a completely different premise, because now we have the role of Steve Rogers being filled without trying to cosplay as Steve Rogers. And that's what this feels like. It feels like you made Falcon cosplay as Steve Rogers and told everybody to get with it or get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes.
But that's not the narrative. They don't listen here. They're gonna say the narrative is Anthony blew it for us. You know, we tried to make this movie about Red. What was it? Red
Hawk.
Yeah, they tried to
Red
make
Hawk.
this, which I hear he got 4 minutes of screen time, and everything that he does
Shut
is
up.
already in the trailer.
Shut up. That is the biggest bait and switch. I would sue. I would literally leave the theater and ask for my money back. I've never done that before, but I would do that.
Well, we got to see the movie first. And wait, I thought you said you were not going to watch this movie.
I'm telling you.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm not.
I've
Can't
heard.
ask for money back for them.
That's why I posted on Twitter the other day. It's a lot of promo for a 5-minute fight.
He has to show up as Red Hawk and something else in the movie. It'll get relentlessly bashed for that alone. If they did this much promo with Harrison Ford as Red Hawk, and that's in the scene that they showed us that prevalently in the previews already. They've already shown us that.
We also got to think about the plot of this film. We also have to think about the plot of this film. He is president. Nobody in the MCU currently knows that he is Red Hulk. If he turns into Red Hulk early on in the film, it then spoils the rest of the film and the MCU knowing that, oh shit, the president, Thunderbolt Ross, is the Hulk. Ensuing the 5-minute fight into your post-credit scene. Brave New World.
Okay. They want this shit to tank for real. It's like one of the only redeeming qualities of the movie is the fact that Harrison Ford is Red Hulk. So if you're going to make me wait until the last 10 minutes of the damn film to see it, okay. If you really honestly believe that, okay, maybe they're that far gone. Maybe they're that convinced that their own stuff is working and that they have a working formula and that they can keep people on the hook for an hour and 35 minutes because this is only an hour.
I mean, but think about it though. I'm thinking about it because I didn't think about it when you just said it that way. But think about it. In order for him to be the Red Hulk in more than just that fight scene, that mean like so that would mean
he has to. Because think about it, Darius. I think we know through the leaks how this movie is going to start. And if it starts like that, we see how that plays out in the previews.
Are you talking about
when he's under, without trying to get into the movie, I'm not trying to ruin it for anybody, but there's a certain
they showed it
action that happens that I'm not very fond of that's going to happen in the beginning of the film that triggers a reaction from the president. We see that in the film or in the trailers.
At the podium? When he's at the podium outside the White House.
Well, no. Okay. There's the
trailer.
He's attempting something. Something gets attempted by a certain individual.
You're talking about the very beginning of the trailer when he's telling Sam, "Work with me, Sam." They have that little they have that whole exhibition deal, and
right. And so you're telling me that footage is from the last 10 minutes of the movie?
No, that is the beginning of the film, but he does not turn into the Red Hulk there. I don't even believe at that point he has been exposed to the gamma. Remember, he still has to do this whole thing with the leader and get exposed to unless he's already exposed to the gamma.
Slam him down to the ground and he starts tripping out.
That's when he's outside. That's when he's outside the podium giving whatever speech.
Okay. I think that would be some
here
pretty
it is.
Heavy bait and switch.
This part in the beginning.
We should be able to play the sound on this.
United States, Thaddeus Ross.
I hate this so much for him.
See, that's the scene you're talking about. This is the beginning.
Okay.
We're learning what's going on.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful. What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
Jesus.
By the way, that woman on there,
I know who that is.
Israeli Occupation Forces.
Yeah.
Her name is Sabra. This is a character who's highly scrutinized. Not to me, everybody. She's not even like the top 5 on the casting.
Is she still playing Sabra?
Yeah, they're gonna call her something else, but she's Sabra. She is the character adaptation from the comic books of Sabra. They'll just say she's a Black Widow, but that character, like I said, I think that's not boycott worthy. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
thought
it's
they
so
changed
low
it.
on the casting where like you're really gonna tank a movie because of like that. I don't know. I feel like if she was the lead of the movie, of course, everyone boycott. We're not going to support that country's occupation and everything they stand for. That's I would say, but I just don't feel like that's worthy. I would say it's a Disney project, and Disney supports that country. So there, who cares if this character's in it or not? If you're thinking about boycotting, anyways, that's not the point. Keep going.
Sir.
I was a wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president.
Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right.
I'm not. Wait for it.
Or also, Giancarlo Esposito.
You want me? Come and get me!
That's so generic.
And if you go back to when he first hulks out. If you go back to when he first hulks out there, go back a little bit more, tiny bit. You see outside there's the pink blossom.
Line up to see this joint anyways. Y'all have fun.
Hey, but shout out to Disney for allowing us to do this and like play the whole trailer. They're not going to copyright our stream on like Warner Brothers. Disney knows how to promote.
Fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck Warner Brothers. You gonna put out a trailer? Like they do that shit every time. Every time. So when they put out the first trailer for the Harry Potter series, they just suspect motherfuckers just to.
They're gonna copyright claim it. They're gonna copyright
That's
strike
insane.
it.
They're going to hinder the fandom. They're going to hinder the online engagement, the hours that people are going to be spending watching content creators, because content creators are just going to say, oh, look, it's right before you hit upload. It'll tell you this has been copyright claimed. And the reviewer is going to say, oh, okay, well, then I'm not going to post it publicly. I'll put it on my Patreon. I'll not post it. Or then they'll just understand Warner Brothers does this and they won't even do the reactions. It's stupid. But that is the Anthony Mackie story of it all. A couple of times I mentioned that Chris Evans also did it, said something about it's not about America. You can pause the screen and read that. I don't really want to rehash that.
Literally said the same thing. Kendrick said the same thing about what is not like us mean. He said the same, almost repeated the same words about integrity and all this other shit. Y'all love it when other people say it, huh? Anthony Mackie just don't talk good enough, y'all. He's not a good enough public speaker.
Johnny said WB broke. That's why they need the money. That's why they copyright it. And I know you're joking because you put LOL, but I'll just add, if studios thought about it, yeah, you're not going to make no money because you're not copywriting it, but you'll get so much more from the movie tickets because this movie has been advertised by influencers all over. And influencers going, oh, whoa, are more genuine. They're more effective marketing than a TV commercial or Jimmy Fallon, who we know is paid to act like everything's cool. When that regular guy sitting on the couch with the Funko Pops behind him says that this is going to be great and he's interested, that actually works better for you as advertising.
If he's going to say that.
Yeah, right. The movie also has to be good.
More than effective speech, they want controlled speech. And whether or not they got a good product, they want the same speech. They want the same controlled marketing factor.
That same shield. I'll be seated for Brave New World. I'm going to go see it early in the day so I can get my review early in the day. I'm telling you now, I don't expect to come out of this film and be like, man, Marvel did it again. At all. I feel like, as I said before, then to move on, we can move on. It's just one of those films we just got to get through. They know we just need to get through it as much as they are got Anthony out there. He knows we just got to get through it. It's just a precursor. That's all.
So you're just not going to join our boycott, huh? It's going to scab on us, huh? Old Tabitha Brown over there.
Yeah, Scabby.
I will
Planet
be there.
Gabby.
Now, I do disagree with Tabitha, but I will be there.
I don't mind like driving into that for like 5 minutes. The DEI, the targeted boycotts and everything. I say Amazon, if you want to cancel your guys' subscriptions to Prime, if you want to stop shopping at Walmart, who also had a big, we don't do DEI no more. Okay,
Yep,
I'm
all
for
of
it.
them.
I also look
All of
with
them.
Tabitha, with any product, if it's black owned and it's being it's on the shelves of Target, I can understand. Okay, shop there just to get those products, but you need to say, Tabitha, which she didn't do. So I'm not on her side completely, but she never said once in that little video that what I do with my money is I enrich the community in which I pay thanks for paving the ground. So when you take away money from me, what you're really taking away is that I sponsor this thing and I sponsor that and I sponsor that. So why are you shaking your head? She never said that. I'm saying she never said that. If she did say that,
No,
I could go
talk. I'm
Sorry.
not interrupting you. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, she didn't eloquently express to me. She was just saying, I'm black, so you're hurting me. You can't do that. And I'm like, no, I'll definitely hurt
I agree
hurt
with
you
that.
for the betterment of everybody else. Like, there needs to be a cause and effect. They pulled the DEI thing, and then they realized, oh, we don't make money when we're not inclusive. Got to be inclusive. That's a winning strategy. That's what they need to learn. So yes, you can be the scapegoat. You can be the one who has to get hurt because of this practice. You deserve not to be funded in Walmart and in all the big box office stores.
I was agreeing with you. I was disagreeing with Raymond in here.
I was disagreeing with Raymond too. That's why.
Yeah,
That's kind of
talking
why I
about
set up. Because
so first of all, with Tabitha, if she wants to keep her stuff in Target so that she has access to a mass market and doesn't have the funds to store her product on her own, that's fine. Like you said, Chill, I just think that we've gotten to a point where if you're going to do something that doesn't benefit the greater good, then just admit that.
Yeah.
But don't try to gaslight me into thinking that it's the right thing to do. What Tabitha Brown, what she's had an access to was made possible through Target's initiative to help shelve and produce and sell more black-owned products. They are now closing that initiative off, which is effectively going to close the door for more Tabitha Browns. So if you're comfortable with Tabitha Brown sustaining her business and her products at the expense of any new Tabitha Browns entering the market, that's your prerogative. That's how you feel. But don't try to spin that like it's a good thing, like that's a moral thing. It's not. It's the same type of decisions that millionaires make all the time. Let me cut out this place. Let me squeeze these folks. Let me get rid of this resource. Let me cut these funds to maximize profit elsewhere. Right? Don't make it seem like it's anything that it's not. Now, when we talk about how much we can affect these brands, I think BDS was doing pretty well.
Yeah, I don't get Starbucks anymore. I don't do Nestle, anything Tide. If I know that
there are 42 million Black Americans here in America alone. There are more Black Americans here than there are people in Canada. So don't underestimate your power, your purchasing power. Because yeah, you may be a small percentage, but you may be a larger percentage of products that are sold to you, right? You may buy more. I don't know. I don't want to start stereotyping products, but I'm saying it is effective. Not purchasing is probably the strongest protest, boycott, what have you, a civil dissonance that you can have is not purchasing. They absolutely feel the effect. 1000% feel the effect. And thinking that you don't it's a defeatist mindset to me.
Support Costco.
Yeah, and that's why I was going to say I set up to say the same thing. I think that is one of the issues that we have within the Black community that sets us so obviously apart from our ancestors, that were willing to risk their bodies, that were willing to sit and things like that, the things I don't have to preach about for us to have the freedoms we have today. But I think also within our community, we don't understand the value of the mighty black dollar. I mean, we saw it with Black Panther. Black Panther was an example of the mighty black dollar. Our culture, when we show up, we show out. And it's like that is why they pander to our culture. That's why they pander to us. If we can get these black folks to do this, we can get black folks to do that, because they know without us, that is why they burned Tulsa to the ground. They saw a thriving black community with its own doctors, its own law. They did not need to step outside of Tulsa, the Greenwood district, to go ask them white folks for shit, not anything. And that is the place that, and I'm not trying to get too, especially with all the shit going politically right now. But I just disagree with that. I disagree with that boycotts don't work. I disagree with that, especially the black dollar, not that, that FUBU, for us, by us. We got to get back to that mentality. And onto what Tabitha said, I think for her to say like, oh, it hurts us. Yeah, I agree with it would hurt you, but you could also pull your black product out and sustain your own black business. That still could work. That still could work.
That is going to sustain a culture of bringing in other black products to be sold.
Can you imagine?
Don't have to go and kowtow to Target to have all of that. That was, I hate when people try to talk smart to you, but they saying dumb shit and expect you not to hear it. See, when you have a business, you need to understand, it costs to sell through that business. You don't just get it for free. And then if you take it out, you got to keep all that product somewhere. Did you know that?
It's called inventory.
You take it out the store and put it somewhere else. Did you understand that? And that it costs money? Like, no.
And it's really hard for women of color to be in these places. Do you know the opposite effect? If she would have said, I saw what they said about DEI, and I'm not waiting. I'm pulling my products from here. You can shop here to find my products and here to find my products. And that sort of solidarity would have gone way better.
Store would be booming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We would like to believe. We don't know that. We would hope so.
I didn't even watch her whole video. I turned the video off when she started trying to baby and auntie me. No. Like I said, you can pull your shit out and you can have your own or whatever, because it works. We've done it. Our community, our people, we've done it before. So it works. We just got to stop thinking that, we need them for things. We don't. Again, we just got to get back to that mindset.
She wants the access to the mass market, and that's more important to her. It's her prerogative. Like, I can't put my moral code onto you. I can't make you think like me. Just don't lie. It's not a thing for all of us for you to get rich. That's something that we can all take from this example. It is not a win for all of us when you win.
Yeah,
it's not. Like, we have been pushing this idea of collective growth through millionaires since I was a kid. Yeah. Oh man, you love to see them succeed. Oh, you love to see them get there, and we do, because that's the nature of our community. But at the same time, it's not a win for you when rich people get richer. When rich people who don't even want to leave the door open for you. See, the thing is, when people make it up that ladder, you're supposed to put a hand back and pull somebody else up with you. When the folks that don't have that at their forefront to turn around and leave the door open for the next person, I don't care. I don't really give a shit whether or not you have success or not. That is not a win for me, because there is no prospect of you ever bringing somebody like me or anybody I care about into that same position. You don't care about that. It's not important to you. So why should I cheer on your success as if it's mine? Why should I kowtow your wins like they belong to me? They don't. That thing ain't trickling down. It's not affecting me at all.
And I thought it did. Like you said, Darius, you didn't see the whole video through. I just saw the headline and I thought, oh, she's making a great point. But when I saw her talk about it, I was like, oh no, don't talk down to me about inventory. You don't understand, guys.
Right. And I just don't like this. And I'm not even talking about Raymond. I'm not talking about Raymond when I say this. I don't want Raymond to think this is direct to him. I just don't like the mentality that we as a community, as a people, can't do shit on our own. You know, I just like, if they don't want us to shop in these stores, they want to pull back on hiring black and brown folks, then don't shop where you're not wanted. I personally, and you can, my whatever may not, I don't really give a shit. I'm not shopping at Walmart. I'm not shopping at Target. I never ate at McDonald's anyway, but fuck your McDouble. Fuck all that shit. You don't, if you can't appreciate us, then no. Jeff Bezos with your Amazon shit, fuck you too. And as soon as I back up all these pictures from Meta, Facebook, fuck Mark Zuckerberg too.
Okay, hold on a minute now. Harlem is on Amazon Prime. I would like to support the good sister Megan Good, and I'm gonna maintain that subscription up until the show's done, and then I'm gone.
Listen, man, even within the boycotts, right? There are varying degrees to which it's realistic for some people. We might have just named off 3 or 4 grocery store resources for people, right? Like I know personally, even right here on the north end,
I understand that, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like if it ain't Walmart, you know what I'm saying, for a lot of people in that area. So understand that it's not, we're not creating any type of moral standard. This is how we feel. And if that's not doable for you, then you find ways to make your voice heard that are. If it's a certain product that you don't want to go to, if it's a restaurant you don't want to eat at anymore, if there's a streaming service that you can't cancel, that's not going to leave you without. Like, we are not asking you to do what the corporations do. We're not asking you to give up parts of your life to have things, right? Well, I'm not asking you to hurt yourself or your family or put yourself in a bad position to stick it to the company. But if you can find a way to do it that doesn't affect your family, make your voice heard.
But you know, too, it is a real conversation that is being had out there of what do we as a community do in this situation outside of just the boycotting, outside of, you know, what you can do or whatever. Because like you said, people do in some places, you know, there aren't some places here in Oklahoma, they don't even have a Walmart. So it just depends on, you know, where you are and things like that. But what do we do as a community again, just listening to other people talk about it on these little radio shows that people have calling in and stuff. They were talking about this one dude called in talking about, segregation and not really being segregated, but, you know, going back to or having stores that are our stores that, you know, are imported from wherever, whatever. Or, you know, I don't even know how you get to that.
Nobody blinks twice at a Chinatown. Nobody blinks at a Little Italy in a city. You know, those places exist. It's not a discriminatory thing to build with your own.
I hate this. Not that I hate it because it's wrong. We need organization. We need leadership. We need organization. We need to mobilize. We need to strategize. Like, to just tell me what the strategy is. I agree
with that, though. We do.
Yeah, we do. But like, just say what the strategy is. Okay, everyone agrees. But like, I wish Raymond would have had a strategy to share. It's one of those feel good, nice things to say. We need to work together. Yeah, you're right. Okay, now direct me.
But
here,
you know, again,
Johnny said it.
Again, in a, and not to get political, but in a Trump America, building for your, just there. Do I want to go here? I don't. Never mind. There's just a lot going on right now.
Over here pulling your punches. Say what you was gonna say.
There's a lot going on. Well, like I said, didn't want to go political, but I will. There's a lot going on right now, especially with the scaling back of just basic civil rights. This war on women, war on Black and brown people. It's a lot going on right now. So in this Trump America, where you've got half the country that voted for this, do you build? Do you try to be successful and whatever, and have these radicalists, MAGA burn you to the ground. We trying to get you back into, you know, Jim Crow era. Come and burn that shit the fuck down. Because we are 9 days into this man's presidency. To put that into perspective, we are 9 days into this man's presidency. What does 69 days look like?
Nice.
You know, it's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Half the country did vote for him. And I would like to think that there's a level of resistance that will be, you know, up there for him, because that surely doesn't stop his side from fighting back. They lost a presidency, a house, and a Senate, and still found a way to stop everything and anything that was promised to us from the former administration. So it's not as treacherous of a proposition for me. I know that both of these sides are playing two sides of the same game, mostly. And that you're even seeing it now with some of the executive orders that he kind of came in with fast and loose, getting held up in court, being held as unconstitutional. Like, those are the things that they press towards us so heavily to be fearful of, right? And then you see it in action, and then it's a lot of what you would have expected from a second president for Trump. It's a lot of blowhard, it's a lot of posturing, a lot of ego stuff, but not a lot of tangible, just like it was the first time. So the answer then becomes, okay, well, we know what the playbook is now. We didn't want to be here. We are here. How do we do this thing differently this time? I think part of it is not platforming him nearly as much as he was platformed before. I think that was half of the problem. They normalized everything he did by talking about it 24/7. And then also maybe, I don't know. I think a break of the political system is actually needed, is what actually needs to happen. But if that's not going to happen, then a serious resistance movement has to grow out of somewhere.
We got some super chats from Michael.
Take a deep drink, take a deep drink. The money goes into my piggy bank.
Yup. It's not unusual. How is having ethnic hair product in store a problem from a corporate perspective? I was under the impression they'd lose DEI. That was a financial load. Is this just racist BS?
I think it's more posturing, right? So first of all, we have to remember why many of these DEI initiatives came about, right? A lot of these companies adopted this stuff around 2020, when the George Floyd protests were going on, when their brick and mortar shops were getting broken into and looted, right? So in an effort to try to cull some of that, and also to posture as if they are on the right side of history and public sentiment, those were the initiatives that they put in place. But there was never any promise of them being permanent. There was never any language that they would be sticking around in perpetuity. They just gave you something to kind of settle things down so that we weren't throwing things through their front window anymore. And I mean, from everyone from Target to Walmart to the NBA, right? So now the dynamic has changed.
Exactly.
We're not in a place anymore where it's popular or beneficial to hold up your minority cards to show everybody, you know, how many boxes you're checking, which I love. I love now that we're that they're the only silver lining to the fact that all the DEI programs are going away is that they're finally able to reveal that most of those jobs were going to white women anyways. Most of those jobs and positions were going to white women. The executive positions that included DEI quotas, most of the federal jobs, white women, just like our social services, just like welfare and food stamps and WIC and all of that stuff too. So not only did they attempt to make us the face of it, but the entire time that they had them going, they were leaving us out of it to begin with. So not so much focus on the programs themselves, but pay attention to the companies who use it as bait. Right? We want you to buy something. We need to get you back in the stores. Come on. We got a DEI program for you. We like black people for the next 6 months.
Right.
Hey, no, Black History Month. Did you hear that answer given from the press secretary or the person, spokesperson? Awesome. Fantastic. No, shut up. No, don't sigh. How awesome is it that there's not going to be a symbolic pacifier to make everyone feel happy? Oh, okay, great. This administration recognizes Black History Month. So what if they do, and so what if they don't? I want everyone to be angry that we've got racist government. I want everyone to be radicalized, not everyone to go, oh, look, for this month they said that Rosa Parks did a good job. What an awesome administration we have right now. Like, don't do that. Like the Republican or Democrat, we know that they're not helping. I don't forget.
I don't celebrate Black History Month. I don't celebrate Black History Month.
Black History Month is one of my examples. Just in general, though, pacifying the movement by doing the symbolic kneel or we want to recognize the land that we're on. Like in Canada, they do that a lot to recognize the Indigenous people. They'll say, we're going to recognize the land. And this used to be the First Nations of this group and that. Like it's a thing here. I hate it because it makes people think like everything's okay. You see, there's no reason to be up in arms and motivate us to be angry, to ask for change, for real tangible administrative
civilization.
Well, Raymond, you said Darius, but I didn't finish what I was saying. I don't celebrate Black History Month as a month because, as I've said many times, Black History Month is, you can't relegate my history to 28, sometimes 27, or how many fucking days sometimes are in February. That Black history is American history, should be celebrated 365. I disagree with what she said because even though Black history is American history, it still is its own segmented history. Like we have our own history. We fall into American history, but we also have our own history. I'm not saying we need to sit here and be like, oh, okay, just because it's Black History Month, let's recognize Rosa Parks. Let's recognize all the faces we recognize all the time. That's all I'm saying. But I don't agree with what she said.
The individual who created Black History Month, or was it Jesse Jackson? I thought it was it was him and the same dude. It was
Marcus Garvey.
Same dude came up with Kwanzaa, I believe. I thought. And it was because of the lack of attention on Black history within American history at the time. Right. And that's not something that's dissimilar to what we're dealing with currently, with a lot of that stuff being stricken out of the curriculum. I waver with it. I agree with you. Our history does span 365 days a year. Our history is American history. And I guess I feel, I don't know, man. If you take Black History Month away today, when are we gonna be talking about it? You know, they're not. It's not.
They're not talking about it. That's the thing.
It's not really taught, and I don't like that. It's so incumbent on people. Say a lot. Well, your parents, your family should teach you your Black history, right? Your family should teach you your Black history. They should know. They should be the ones telling you. Well, where the hell were they educated at? Who educated them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of dissonance that gets created. Well, if one person says something wrong or one person recollects something wrong, that's just misinformation passed down over and over and over and over again. I do think it's important. And if it takes it to be highlighted in February for it to become a thing for people who wouldn't otherwise have ever heard it or interacted with it or even known any of the information that was brought to in that month, that's a good thing. But I guess I do agree with you. I don't like that it's only relegated to February, the shortest month of the year.
The shortest month of the year.
Black History Week was in February, and then naturally the month would be a February thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Superman.
No. Yeah, Superman.
Soup.
You guys see him flying? Looks pretty cool, right? He's got the S on his back and the cape. He's zooming and glooming. Look at him glide through the skies at ease. He literally did the flip. Whoa, hold on. He's got one eye looking this way and another eye going that way. So The Rock hopes for one single solitary second that the eye that's looking that way is looking at The Rock's hand going that way. Only wrestling fans know that.
Yeah, he made it look like he was a drone.
Time out.
Like
Time out, Marcus. Hold the thought. Just because like Michael Nemo sent a $5 super chat. I don't want to, you know what I mean? He says, y'all make Black History Month sound like the pizza party they throw the crew at work when morale is low. You know what?
It's more like
that effect. You're right. So to me, it feels like it's that effect. It makes everyone happy. Now you at work, they could be doing something like giving you guys raises, giving you time off, flexibility. They could be more. They could give you real things that are going to impact you and change your life. But the feel good, it's what? It's a pizza party for lunch, which only costs them $100. Makes you, oh, I like working here. It sedates you, and that's what I think. Having the Republican Party, having the Democratic Party recognize Black History Month makes everyone feel like everything's okay. Nah, bro. Give me that Republican energy. We celebrate everyone. That's what we do. Marcus, were you saying something?
Nah.
I thought I
go
cut.
back to Superman. No, you're good.
Mimo. Back to Superman. Superman trailer. We got one eye looking this way and one eye looking that way. What do you say, Marcus?
Hey, he is cross-eyed. I didn't even realize that.
I didn't
That is
realize
nuts.
that either.
That is insane. You put corn
That's
sweat on
funny.
here cross-eyed? Not cross-eyed,
This
but
was-
definitely
go
spaced
ahead,
out
Marcus,
lazy
actually,
eye, like
sorry.
lazy eye. So I do think that this is kind of consistent with the first bit of footage that we got in the trailer about a month ago, right? Like there were some good, some bad. There was some stuff that looked weird. There was some stuff that looked great. We got a lot of the same footage, only this little barrel roll action he got going on where like his head and his face doesn't move makes him look like an android. It makes it look like I think somebody mentioned like they might have done it on a drone and then imposed his face on the drone, so that's why it looks like that. The only thing that was worse than this little bit of footage that could have just been thrown away and not mentioned, or we're just clean it up in post. No. You know who, the boogeyman himself, had to go on Twitter and talk about it again. Like people wonder why. Oh, well, people just hate on everything James Gunn does. James Gunn interacts with every bit of hate that he hears on the internet. So it just makes it that much more advantageous for the people who are going to be loud about it to do it the next time that something sucks. And this does suck. I'm not fond of it. It was already weighing on me about the suit and what they did to my boy Nathan Fillion. But I'm losing confidence in this project the more I see it.
John calls it the roto camera, the fisheye lens, where it makes it that way. What's in the center is going to be centered, but things to the left will veer a little lefter, and things on the right shift a little righter. And that's why his eyes look that way. And I'm not mad at this at all. I think it's much to do about nothing. This little clip of him flying. All right. I'll only play 5 seconds.
Still trash. And also, y'all gave The Rock hell for the same exact shot in Black Adam. You meme the hell out of it relentlessly. Now all of a sudden it's cool because it's Gun and Corn Sweat. Come on, man. Miss me. At least stay consistent, right? If it was worthy of being dragged on the internet when it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson, then it's worthy of being dragged on the internet now. Don't call it fake hate. People just have a reaction to it. And it's only amplified by the studio's president who wants to argue about it on the internet all the time. Well, actually, it was shot with this camera and it was done. James, you didn't change. They're saying it looks bad. Okay, there's no amount of come back and argue with people online that's going to change that opinion.
Yeah. Who was I arguing with that tried to tell me that Marvel was afraid to put out something with the Fantastic Four? Marvel was going to move dates. I tried to tell y'all.
Wasn't it Blue?
From the very beginning. It might have been. Tried to tell y'all from the very beginning. Marvel's not shifting shit. There's no reason to. There was never a reason to. One, all the things I mentioned before, the established, blah, 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 blah. Superman, Kal-El, we already know that. But when you have James Gunn, who I've said many times, we've all said, gets on here, said the fractured universe. It's even more fractured. Da 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 da. Arguing with people, arguing with trades, arguing with YouTubers, arguing with whatever, just random people on Twitter, trying to feel like he has to debunk everything.
And then he be lying too. Like, it's okay. It's one thing that you active on the internet, right? So you already serving yourself up. It's another thing that you engage with just about anybody who has anything to say with you, and then you be bold-faced ass lying too. It's just it's a bad combination, man. It is a bad combination.
I did not like this. This did not look good. And this just goes on with a couple of other things that just haven't looked good. The original promo picture didn't look good. The stuff with crypto didn't look good. All of his bantering with people doesn't look good. And this first flight does not look good. So we are 6 not look goods with with 0 wows. That was great. So I don't know. I don't know how this film does.
We will say 0. The scene where he saves the little girl from the planet.
That's true. I do really like that scene.
Yeah, that was dope.
do really like the scene where he saves the little girl. So 6 woes
and 1 wow.
So we've got some work to do. Instead of being on Twitter arguing with discussing film or Jeff Snyder, I tighten some shit up in the studio.
He will. He will. He's not going to let this ruin his movie. So he'll take care of the eyes and he'll do what he's got to do for the flight scenes. It's like video game trailers.
We still haven't seen a lot of other shit either, so we just don't know.
He can't afford anything. You know what's interesting about this movie is that there's not going to be a Super Bowl trailer, and it's probably because Super Bowl trailers are $8 million for 30 seconds.
Jesus.
He's right. He's not going to do it. They don't have that kind of money over at DC Studios. You can actually use 8 million, spread it up, and use it more effectively in other ways. Everyone knows Superman because it was the most viewed trailer ever, or in the top 5 of the most viewed trailers ever. You really don't need the casuals to know about Superman. You do for a Blue Beetle or for a lesser superhero, right? But for Superman, you're fine. Let Fantastic Four get all of the new Rockstars coverage and everything anyways, because that is what's going to happen. You're going to get the same YouTubers and people who do coverage are going to be too occupied with the MCU. He's doing a great job by not having a Super Bowl trailer. That being said, though, he's on a budget, clearly. Use the money, dig into the budget to take care of this flying stuff, to make it null. Like, you can't give validity to the complaints that people are saying. James Gunn's got a long way to go from now until July. He's handled himself less than perfect. I'll say 50% good, 50% bad. The next 6 months, though, he can perfect the marketing strategy. He's going to have his actors out there. David Cornsweet hopefully doesn't say anything crazy. We want women to be fawning over him, so find ways that he can do shirtless things. He'll do hot ones. He can do these things. That's all. I'm just saying. It's not over.
I'm still rooting for the film.
Me too.
I'm just saying it just hasn't been a smooth ride. Go ahead, Marcus.
I was going to say, no, it hasn't. But who do you think has been marketed better as a leading man? Anthony Mackie, because I think they're completely comparable. Anthony Mackie as Cap or Cornsweet as Super?
That is actually a very good question, and I would say they've both done a shit job. I'd say they've both done a shit job. That's a very good question. Yeah, no, they've both done a shit job.
I was going to say, you think Anthony Mackie has been, I think it's jumped up here now that we're approaching the date. But prior to that, they haven't really. What marketing have they done? They've done more marketing for Red Hawk than they've done for him as Cap. So
they're marketing Anthony more in China than they are in my opinion, just from what I've seen. I feel like he is more on posters and facial things and interviews in China. And then over here, you got your big cutout posters of the Shield, but you got Hulk's hand or something with Hulk.
Right. Nothing with Mackie just standing out front. Man, it's hard to say because as far as Supermans go, I feel like Cornsweet's been the most tamed so far. When that's a little bit loaded because we haven't seen his film come out yet. But even still, I feel like we saw a lot of Cavill before Man of Steel or leading up to Man of Steel. Felt like we got a lot of
Too early.
I wouldn't know anything about Brandon Roth. That was way too early for me, but in terms of what the media attention was. But I do remember the Henry Cavill attention. Henry Cavill was big. When he got cast, that was a big deal. Haven't had that same effect for Corn Sweat.
No, they haven't had the same effect with this film that they had with Man of Steel. And I don't know if that's, again, just people, because there are obviously people that are wanting this to fail. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want the film to fail. I like Superman. I like James Gunn. I would like to see a good Superman film, but I am under the impression, well, I'm not going to say that the DC universe just falls flat. I mean, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is supposed to be good, I guess. But
who was saying that they're oh man, it was somebody. I can't even think of it now. Somebody in the DC orbit was talking about, man, I can't wait for that movie to come out.
No, it wasn't DC. It was Sebastian Stan.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Sebastian.
that said, and I don't even know why did he say that again? Because the director, I think he knows. But yeah, he was talking about how it's going to be a really good film and things like that. But so I do think, though, if this doesn't do good, I'm not saying the DC universe is just dead, but I do say, oh man, like somebody, I think it was maybe Michael Nemo, we might have to stick to the CW if this just does not pan out.
The fact that people are saying that, like that it's even comparable. When has that ever been a thing? When you saw Superman on screen and people immediately started comparing it to the television version of Superman. So when they had Henry, that's like Henry Cavill came out and they were like, man, what is his name? Something Dean, James Dean. On Lois and Clark, he was way better than Cavill. This looks like some Lois and Clark stuff right here. Like, I'm sorry, what? Excuse me? That's never happened. No one has ever done that.
No, no, not at all.
That's not a great thing.
You know what? They have data where they can see on the YouTube what was the most viewed part of your trailer. And we know that when the Green Gardner,
thank you. Yeah, here we go.
With Dean Cain, when the Green Lantern Guy Gardner showed up, that was the most viewed portion of the trailer. So they go, oh, people like that? Cool. The next trailer will feature more of that Green Lantern. They can definitely come back with, because that was just the teaser. They can definitely come back with a bigger trailer that satisfies, that gives more answers, that has more dialogue. Actually, they could really kill it with the marketing coming up. And yeah, skipping the Super Bowl is a great idea.
Yeah. Michael Nemo with the super chat.
Everybody pricey, cost money, beat the charge money, fast money, push the start money.
Escobar money. Louis Vice always add spice. Always lick the liquor with the ice. I don't give a fuck if that's his wife. We could bag any in these all white Nikes. Shout out to Nas, man. That was a great 3-album run.
Some other channels. I'm worried to read this one. Someone else read it, please.
Some other channels are saying Mackie is making un-American comments, but of course those channels are hypersensitive to stupid shit. Yeah, I mean, I could probably name a few without even doing a Google search. But again, it's one of those telling moments, right? It's like you're either being dishonest or you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because if the guy who's playing the Captain America, telling you that shield doesn't represent America is off-putting to you, then you're just not up on your source. You're not up on your source. You didn't act that way when Chris Evans said it. You sure as hell didn't act that way when you saw Civil War. Like, why didn't that have a more visceral action to you at that point? He was a criminal. He was a fugitive on the run. He was an adversary to the American government. Why didn't that rub you the wrong way? Oh, it's the black dude saying that he don't like America that sets you off.
It's so obvious, isn't it?
Like there's no other way to explain it. There's literally no other way to explain it. And anybody who's willing to put their reputation on the back of Anthony Mackie's being un-American is full of horse shit. Just full of shit. And
it reminds me
that he would have been stronger in his statement, that he would have stood on what the fuck it was that he said.
I remember when Static Shock or Static, the character, was getting renewed in 2021, okay? They changed his origin because he would be at a Black Lives Matter protest, and that's when the police threw the experimental gas to make everyone mutate. And they said, that changes the origin. He was supposed to be at a gang meetup, and he was supposed to bring his gun, and he was supposed to learn about how that was the wrong way. But they made it at a Black Lives Matter. They ruined the essence of the character. They said that. Everyone who made a YouTube video and cried, you were not going to support that comic anyways. You were not one of the 5,000-6,000 people buying the comic back in the 90s to keep it to sustain its presence. Like, miss me. I wasn't born yesterday. And this is the quote that you mentioned. So actually, what were you saying, Marcus?
No, I was just going to say, it's like, it almost gives the posture as if you need to have Black people in a certain position. Like, if you can't see them through a certain context, then it just doesn't fit to you. It's not right. There's something wrong. There has to be something to complain about, right? And so, again, you can have this right here. Well, to me, I'm not trying to get lost in the American side of it. So Chris Evans can tell you that his Captain America, he's not getting lost in the American side of it. He goes on to say, this isn't a flag-waving movie. Holy shit. So un-American, anti-patriot. It's red, white, and blue, but it just happens to be the character was created in America during created in America during wartime, when there was a common enemy. Even though it is Captain America, I've said before in interviews, it feels like it should be just called Captain Good. That is a cringeworthy statement. There's cringe all through that. Captain Good. Nobody has a problem with that. No one.
Mm-hmm.
No one has a problem with him saying Captain America is red, white, and blue for show. Nobody.
Well, Discussing Film didn't tweet that when he said it, so that's why it didn't get so popular.
I guess, yeah. Discussing Film is betting 1,000 this week. Boy, Jesus, y'all just can't. Y'all can't get right.
Anthony Mackie said, "I don't." Since we were just talking about Cap and Anthony, he gave an interview to Esquire 7 hours ago and said on his future as Captain America, I give it a solid 10 years. You have 2 Avengers movies. You have hopefully another Captain America. Hold on. You have hopefully another Captain America. And then a random plug-in and plays. Oh, Spider-Man. Oh, Fantastic Four. What are you doing here? But you never know. I mean, I don't want to be 60-year-old Captain America. 10 years, brother. When is Secret Wars?
Who's going to tell him?
That's the expiration, my guy. I would say if we are doing, and if not, maybe not. Maybe they usher him in as Cap in this new universe. Who knows? I don't know.
But who is going to tell Anthony that it's OV after this movie? Or maybe he's just that confident that it's going to perform well and that they'll be forced to keep him. I mean, it sounds like Chris Evans is not really interested in reprising his role. It was a quote for him in what was it, Variety today? It said he's not coming back for Doomsday. So if he's not going to be back in Doomsday, that lessens the likelihood that he's in Secret Wars, right?
He said he retired. Which, if you retired, why
he's
are
full
you
of shit? He was just in Deadpool.
He was just in Deadpool. He definitely was.
So he's full of shit. He's the werewolf, Andrew Garfield. He's talking about he's not in Doomsday. He's in Doomsday.
Yeah. You know what? Cumberbatch just did the same shit with us. He was all, they changed it after Kang. I'm not in it no more. And then literally today, he came back and corrected himself.
He's like,
oh, actually, I'm going to be in it. Like, what do you just forgot that you were in a multi-million-dollar film? Who do y'all think? Why do y'all think we're so dumb? That's what irritates me some. Why do you think I'm so stupid? I don't appreciate that you think that I'm not intelligent.
Let's do some X-Men talk. The new rumor is that the Joe and Anthony Russo, the Russo brothers, are going to be behind the X-Men. This is going to be them planning, orchestrating movies and TV shows. They're going to be the masterminds who are going to launch how the X-Men are going to be used. Now, we got rumors that Jack Champion, a 20-year-old actor, is going to play Cyclops. And then Jean
That's
Grey
from my time.
Okay. My time says it.
Because there's another there. Because
I
there's
hate her
another from
Scoops.
Jeff Snyder.
I hate her Scoops. I hate everything about her Scoops.
Who's
Not that
Jeff
she's
Snyder's?
reporting it, but go ahead.
Harris Dickinson.
Harris. How old is that guy?
I can do a quick search on him.
Well, I'm
So
happy
they're
that they're
still
getting young.
combating on Scoops. Her and Snyder are.
Yeah, because my time is secretly Kevin Feige or an executive in disguise who
I'm
hates.
telling you,
He's
boy,
28.
I really hope that
Oh.
everything that comes out of that mouth of hers is a lie. I hope, because if it's not,
28.
it's gonna be trash. This next phase is gonna be awful.
Oh no. I'm leaning more on my time, which is so crazy, so fucking crazy than I am on
I
the
don't
on the
want
Snyder.
to go young. I hate who they. Sadie Singh is solid.
Oh no,
but
not on
everything
the
else,
X-Men stuff. Sorry,
Yeah.
not on the X-Men stuff. But who Jeff Snyder is saying, this Harris Dickinson guy, he is 28. He fits to me the look and mold more of Scott than this Champion kid. And he has played in, I don't know if it's anything that anybody has seen, but I don't want to go through. No, nothing. No, you're good. But yeah, so an unknown. It's what Marvel's typically good at.
Well, the
I
Russo brothers.
go.
I feel like this is the second time we cut you off. It's your turn.
I was just gonna say, I feel like there's a possibility that there's two separate. I don't want to call it timelines, but for lack thereof a better term, I guess I'll say that there's two different tracks happening right now. That's possible. There's the build up towards Secret Wars, right? That includes Doomsday. And then there is the post Secret Wars track that they almost have to put in place now. If they're actually going to do a soft reboot, they have to start casting for that now. So that could be why we're getting mix and matching scoops in terms of how they're moving forward with certain characters. Not trying to drum up the Black Panther talk tonight. This wasn't the point, but it applies to the X-Men, right? Like, are they really going to start from scratch with these kids and bank that they're going to have the time to ramp up to see them have adults? That is a huge gamble.
Yeah,
it's a huge gamble, because if you look at it canonically, they've never really introduced an X-Men team, live action or otherwise, even the animation, younger than like juniors in high school. And the tilt that they're going to now is like high school, sophomore, high school, like freshmen. They're looking at young, according to my time. Right? So if that's the case, and then we have all this other stuff on the other side, we've got Jeff Snyder reporting adult to child, adult Cyclops, Wolverine sticking around, right? Like, okay, there's two different things going on here, or at least it seems to be. So maybe one of them is the pre-Secret Wars buildup, and that's kind of what the Russos are taking a hold of, because that's what's going to dictate what the X-Men look like going into the next phase. And the other one is, okay, well, these are the characters that we're looking at to take over. This is what we're going to look like in 2027. This is what we're going to look like in 2028, 2029, in those preceding years.
The film could have a time skip. They could be younger, and then they're supposed to get older in the middle, in the first act or something like that. It could be a unique storytelling thing. 28 years old is a great age. 25-year-old is a great age, especially if you're going to have them for a long time. And it brings back to the conversation Marcus and I were debating about getting these guys young and signing them for something very affordable because they're young or they don't really have leverage, so they'll say yes to it, and you get them for all the movies you plan.
Oh, you better believe nobody right now is signing with Marvel for 20 anything. 20 months with Marvel probably is pretty steep for what they're asking right now.
I think the 20-year-old Cyclops actor Jack Champion, I think, is going to be willing to do 9-picture deal right now. He'll be like, I know I'm 20, but a 9-picture deal, I'll play Cyclops.
It's not healthy enough, man. We get
it. This is the Russo brothers' film. It's a Netflix film called Electric State. It's featuring Chris Pratt and who's the woman in it? She's in the car there. I know her. Is that Millie Bobby Brown? Yeah, that's Millie Bobby Brown. It says that in the tweet. So that's that's what they've been doing on their time away from Marvel.
Nothing that they're doing outside of MCU is really all that successful.
Nothing. So shout out to come. We need you here.
It's probably likely.
Come here, do this X-Men, please, Russos. We need you. You know how to handle a team, and like, you will always be busy. You run the ideas back and forth. You get Marcus and McFeely also as part of this boardroom, this creative discussion. You guys are exactly where you need to be. You are the most qualified. I hope this rumor is absolutely true, man. This is the best case scenario for Marvel to have geniuses like that, proven track record, respected from fans. We cheer for directors. How often do you cheer for a director at a Comic-Con like that? Sam Raimi and the Russo brothers. That's it. Shout out to the Russo brothers. I hope this is very true because the X-Men rumors, the X-Men can revive Marvel in a way that no other team can. They are the heaviest hitter. No matter how good Iron Man does or what Robert Downey could do, a proper X-Men film, it's over because you got A-listers in Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey. You can make Beast an A-lister. Like you can make Nightcrawler a B-lister. You have so much talent there with Rogue also. Sugar, that acting, that she's fixing to get an Oscar, whoever plays that character. Was that good? I feel like Rogue,
no,
you get Gambit.
That wasn't great Southern. That wasn't a good Southern.
Well, excuse me.
I do think, I think it's real. I think it's real because the Russos have stated time and time again that they wanted to do the X-Men outside of whatever project they were currently working on for Marvel. It seems like whatever beef they might have had with Marvel due to coming to ScarJo's defense might be dropped, assuming they are doing Doomsday and everything else. So I do believe that it's real. Yeah, I think that they are obviously another reason I think it's real is because Marvel also knows what you stated. They're in a rut, and who else to bring us out of that rut than when we were in our heyday and gave us some of our best hits. So yeah.
So if this is true,
I think it's real.
If this is real, and the Russos are going to not only do Doomsday, but they're going to do Secret Wars. And they're also going to do the Mutant Saga. What is Kevin Feige's job?
Just sit there and act pretty.
For the next 6-7 years of the MCU, what's Kevin Feige doing?
Pretend to take credit for everything as if it was your hard work. Yeah, you.
Well,
the guy who put Jessica Gao in charge of She-Hulk, the guy who tried
hold on. Let me do the same thing to you. Hold on. Anyways, if
he argued with Gao.
If you're Kevin Feige and they're doing Avengers, but then they're also doing X-Men, right? How is this not the Matt Reeves situation with James Gunn? Because I don't think the Russos come on and sign this deal without the producer credit. We're not just going to let Kevin Feige be executive producer of all this stuff and we're coming back and you got us working full time. It's Kevin's already there. If you want Kevin to do it, let him do it.
Yeah.
It's us or it's Kevin. So if it's them and they're executive producing Doomsday, they're executive producing Secret Wars, they're executive producing all the X-Men projects, what is Kevin Feige doing?
What he always does.
That's not a situation that's going to stand that way. It's not going to be that way. It's not going to stand that way. One of those personalities is going to end up winning out. And I don't think either one of them see the relationship that they had when it was Secret Wars and Avengers Endgame and Infinity War was that of a boss and an employee. They were still just directors at that point. Well, now they're being asked to come back to rewrite the ship. The boss doesn't get to just take in the accolades of the people who got to get brought back to the ship and just say, yes, I stewarded this return. Hell, neither are the people above Kevin Feige. They're not going to allow that.
Oh, you just said it. The people above. Bob Chapek is to blame because he just put so much on us and we had to fill so much dates. Now when I can work on my own, I can do it. So it's not really the Russos are here. It's just that I have less on my plate, Bob Iger, and that's why we're doing so much better.
That's some good spin.
Yep.
That's some good spin. But I do happen to think that there's going to be
That
some
would be
people
that
who are
would be
counting
the
the pennies
spin.
at Disney, and they're going to be like, "Well, this is kind of redundant. We kind of got 3 presidents now. We have 3 presidents of Disney Studios, and one of them or 2 of them just aren't president in title, but they are president practically because they are driving the force of the studio right now.
No, they're
That's
just
gonna
the
become
Nate
an
Moore
issue.
replacements.
Oh,
They're the
he
Nate
plays
Moore-
the wild boy in Avatar.
Who's that?
The one that's not Jack, the Jack kid.
Spider?
Oh, I
Yeah.
was just looking at his resume.
The dude that's cast, or they're talking
And
about
that other
casting
guy
for
has
Cyclops?
played in some stuff.
He was the
Yeah,
wild kid
yeah.
in Avatar.
So he has a lot of experience with people wearing tennis balls and all the graphic stuff. So he can do it. Yeah. An experienced
And
actor.
he's
which-
already in that. He's already in the
He
House
was
of
like
Mouse.
13. Yeah, please don't go that young.
They'll be older when they
I
start
don't want
filming.
him as I co-signed the Harris Dickinson guy. I was looking at his resume. He has actually been in some things. I
Correct me if
co-signed
I'm
him.
wrong, but we didn't fall in love with these characters while they were children. Like we didn't have to watch these characters grow up from age 14, 15 and into adulthood to like them. Like I got introduced to Cyclops as an adult. I got introduced to Wolverine as an adult, Storm, Jean Grey, all of them adults. Like I understand that they had lore and they had history of being students in the school, and I went back and read that history. But when I saw X-Men on the screen for the first time, they were adults. I don't understand this idea of they have to enter the MCU as children.
I hope it's not real. In a perfect world, that happens, but in a KK world, that does not happen.
Oh boy. Superman movies, Superman 2, Back to the Future 2 and
Michael
3.
Nemo
shot
with a
simultaneously.
$10 super chat.
I don't think that it was probably crazy to say, but would they have the budget to shoot Secret Wars and Doomsday simultaneously like they did Back to the Future 2 and 3? Like, could they legitimately spend close to $1 billion? I don't know if they could do that. I don't know if they're healthy enough as a company to do that. We always talk about Disney has unlimited pockets, but could they shoot Doomsday and Secret Wars simultaneously?
I think they could.
They didn't even do that with Infinity War and
outside. No, they didn't do it, and I don't think they're going to do it with this. But in a hypothetical, I think they could, because outside of Marvel, Disney had a very good. They had some Billies in there. Inside Out was a Billy.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
What else did
Right.
they
They've
have?
had some wins, but it's not like they don't have
One.
other large productions coming up, right? They're doing Toy Story, doing a live action Lilo and Stitch. They got other things that they're paying for outside of Marvel.
That
they got
no
Mando
one's talking
Grogu coming
about
out next
that
summer.
trailer. Yeah.
They got a lot.
That
They
trailer's
got a lot
coming out the
coming
Super
out.
Bowl too.
Super Bowl trailer, $8 million going out for Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four's budget alone. So again, are they going to get to close to $1 billion to shoot Doomsday and Secret Wars at the same time? And then you got to market both films. Then you got to hope that both of them stay on schedule so that you're not doing reshoots. They could easily end up spending $1 billion trying to accomplish that.
We didn't play the graphic for the super chat. Which one you guys want to do? Let's go to Boondocks. When I get older, thank you, Michael Nemo, for the $10 in the super chat. The super chat. Oh, I'm done. Like, oh, look, there's one more thing to talk about. But I want to throw this out to Darius. You want to do a mega panel tomorrow? Recast T'Challa. We'll talk about Achibe, Denzel Washington, the latest Cosmic Wonder report that it's not going to be Toussaint and it's going to be actual T'Challa being recast. Are you doing anything tomorrow evening?
You talking to me?
No.
No, I'll be there. I'll be there. I missed the last one and I was upset, so I'll make sure I'm present.
We will get all hands on deck. I asked Tori. Oh, I think he's lagged actually. Darius, you there?
Yes. I don't know. My shit is doing that. It's actually pissing me off.
There you go. You're back. Kinda.
I don't want to overpromise, but we just agreed to do the live stream tomorrow, Darius, on your channel.
I'm there.
Bet.
We'll see you guys tomorrow then. That'll be it. All the Recast T'Challa YouTubers who accepted the invitation. Tori and Rain Reloaded. I'm expecting Blue's probably going to show up. He said he would show up. Who else we got? And everyone's coming.
I did want to ask if my shit's working. Did y'all see? I guess I could bring this up tomorrow. We could talk about it more tomorrow. Yeah. It's just something that they've just recently showed in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as to why it's important for characters like T'Challa to be seen. So, but I'll get into that more tomorrow.
Damn, I want to talk about that so badly. Tomorrow.
You know what it is?
No.
Is it about Tombstone?
It's that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I get that's his background, but I'm like, God, this is why we can't get away from this shit. But anyway, I'll talk about it tomorrow.
Tomorrow, T'Challa talk and Tombstone, your Friendly Neighborhood stuff. Yeah.
Bet.
Go check out the Spoiler Kings. They're streaming right now. And on Sunday, Marcus from Back of the Bus, you're going to be giving some W's and some L's to Angel Reese is going to get a W, I hope. Can I recommend that she gets a W for buying her mom's retirement? She bought her mortgage?
Oh, well, great for Angel Reese. That should have been did that shit as soon as she got the damn check. But yes, congratulations to Angel Reese. She'll get a W. Check us out Sunday afternoons around 4. We'll be going live doing Dubs and L's and Behind the Cape doing all your entertainment news.
On my channel, I might do something for the Royal Rumble, which is happening on Saturday.
Ooh,
yes.
I'll be watching that.
Surprise entrance. Who's the NXT call-ups? Is it going to be Trick Williams? Whoop that trick. Is that coming? Or is it going to be CM Punk winning it? Who's your favorite to win that Royal Rumble, everybody? That's what I'm going to be talking about. I think I have to now. Me and Mike from Rogue Comics probably going to talk about it. Get Rosales Comics there too.
Nice. We will be watching. The Barton men will definitely be sitting down watching the Royal Rumble on Saturday. They've been hyping, doing a good job of promoing it here the last couple of weeks of Raw. So my son is very interested. I'm interested myself. See how everything's going to play out. There's a lot of auxiliary storylines to this main event. So
Charlotte for the Women's Rumble, she's returning. She's winning that Rumble on Saturday.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the Women's Rumble will be the first one, and Charlotte's going to win it.
So then, does Charlotte make an appearance at the Nia Jax Rhea Ripley match? Does she show up? Does she ring? Kind of do the, I really like Charlotte Flair. She's very athletic.
Yes,
crazy athletic.
Ric Flair's daughter. Like, she actually, Ric Flair had a couple of sons. Sorry, guys. Thanks for coming, everyone, to the Pantheon this week. Oh, we talked politics. We did I Show Speed and I'm sorry. John C over here reminding me. I think they're going to be in the Rumble. I think
they need to fight. Yeah, the hell with the stream. They need to get in there.
Logan Paul's probably going to be there. He will be there. He said he'll be in there. So I think Logan Paul could eliminate one of the other streamers. Logan and Jake Paul, by the way, they were advertising a fight, but it's really just like a TV show. So there's no fight. Alexa Bliss, that could be a good return. All right, we're done. Darius, anything you want to promote over on your end aside from tomorrow's stream?
No, outside of I know I've again been trying to get my studio together, so I'm almost done there. Q's side is almost done. Corey's all set up, and then the three of us should be back.
It's been a while since we've seen them. Cool.
I'm about to say you still got co-hosts. Shout out to Q and Corey.
Yeah, I still have my co-host. Q lives like 6 minutes down the street now, so Corey won't be in studio any longer because I live in the city now. So, but she will be joining through whatever. But she'll be here. So
Deuces. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, I've been watching y'all every single time on Thursday and Friday because I swear to God, y'all switch up every now and then. But rock out. I'm fucking with it. I'm out.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate it.
I doubt.